Welcome into Sparky Anderson Field. Ryan Milano and Knight Uretsky on hand here. The biggest game of the Oaks season. It all boils down to this. The OC Riptide come to town to face off against the Conejo Oaks. In the standings, the Riptide, they are one game ahead of the Oaks. But due to the tiebreakers, and we'll go more in depth with them throughout the game, if we do get a win over the Orange County Riptide, the Oaks control their own destiny tomorrow. And it lies in the hands of Lucian Wexberg. He's the man on the hill for the Oaks. In the outfield, it's Raul Sandoval in right field, Hunter Call in center, and Austin Carrillo in left. In the infield, Brendan Bobo. At first base, Grant Smith at second, JT Naviak at short, Greg Melhoff at third, and then Anson Arrows behind the dish. That is the defensive alignment for the Oaks. The lineup for the Orange County Riptide: Davis Diaz leading off, Terrence Simmons in the two-hole, Colton Freeman batting third, Clay Owen fourth, Gavin Hamovitz 5, Austin Krizik 6, and then Emilio Rosas, Mason Grace, and Dwight Allen close out the lineup for the Orange County Riptide. This is what it all comes down to. Game 7, Game 163, Game 39, whatever you want to call it. It is the biggest game of the Oaks season, and it's Lucian Wexberg on the hill trying to get it done. He's going to start off against Davis Diaz. Ryan Milano joined alongside Knight Uretsky. Knight, can you feel the tension for what these next 9 innings have in store?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, this is the game of the year right now. Everything happens, or forward happens because of this game, and man, you can feel the intensity.
Diaz watches the first pitch in there for a strike. The count 0-1. Diaz on the season bats .313. He was hitting incredibly well coming into yesterday's game as the 0-1 breaking ball that misses low and away. The count 1-1. Diaz was on a long hitting streak all the way back to July 16th. He had a hit in every single game, but he went 0 for 5 yesterday against the Arroyo Seco Saints to break a long hit streak. Bounces one inside the bag at first base. Sandoval has to track. It's in the Riptide bullpen. Diaz digging for extra bases, and a leadoff double for Davis Diaz. That's not the start you want if you're the Oaks.
No, it's not the start you want at all, and Diaz right there, he just grounded one opposite way right down the first base line, and oftentimes you're not going to see that from a right-handed hitter, but Diaz, he does it. He goes right down the right field line. Sandoval, a long run from him because of the shift for a right-handed hitter, and because of that, the ball goes towards the corner. Luckily, Sandoval has some speed in right field and is able to get there in time and limit it to 2 bases instead of 3, but a great hit for Diaz and a great start for the Riptide in their hunt for the playoffs here.
Terrence Simmons, he's in the two-hole today, batting .295 on the season. Simmons goes to UConn University, the University of Connecticut. First pitch below the knees for a ball. The count 1-0.
UConn University.
It's not UConn University. Corrected myself. University of Connecticut. The U in UConn stands for university.
Yes.
.295 is the average on the season, but a hitless streak in his last 3 games for Terrence Simmons after he had a 4 for 5 performance against the Arroyo Seco Saints to start the week. He takes the first strike of the count on the outside part of the plate, the count 1-1.
That was a late call right there by the umpire. It seemed like it was going to be called a ball, but at the last second he did call it a strike. I thought that was the right call, but it was a late strike called.
The 1-1 on the outside part. This time it runs off the plate. So the count 2-1. Wexberg this season has a 6.51 ERA. He has 4 decisions over his starts this year. All 4 of them he has been credited for the loss. Trying to have a different result here. 3 of those losses came against the Santa Barbara Foresters. As this one off the hands to shortstop. Naviak fields it, throws to first in time. And that's the first out of the inning, but it advances Davis Diaz to third base.
And it does advance Diaz, and that's a successful at-bat for Simmons as he advanced the runner. That's what he's supposed to do when there's a runner at second base and nobody out. But going back to Lucian Wexberg, like you said, 3 of his decisions are against the Foresters, and those were really close games, it seemed like, against the Foresters. especially his last performance. The Oaks, they lost that one 3-4. But, I mean, I think that anybody knows the Foresters are the best team in the CCL this season. And, you know, the Oaks, they just didn't beat the Foresters, and that's why Wexburg got all the decisions.
Wexburg's first pitch to Colton Freeman misses outside, the count 1-0. And so 4 out of the 5 appearances for Wexburg have been against Santa Barbara. The only one that wasn't was on July 7th against the Orange County Riptide. Its worst performance of the season as Colton Freeman grounds one to Naviak. He gloves it, spins, throws to first. Bobo can't keep his foot on the bag. He's up the line. And a run comes through on an RBI infield single from Colton Freeman.
Yeah, and you thought that was going to be a successful at-bat for Freeman right there, and it is, but he was going to ground out potentially. Diaz was going to come in to score, and that's a successful hitting for the Riptide as they were able to advance the runner from second to third and then third to home. And there, Freeman, he beats the throw. Naviak, the throw was a little bit off after the spin, and because of that, there's a runner on first.
Pickoff over to first, back in safely is Freeman. So in that matchup against the Orange County Riptide, Wexburg, he went just 1 1/3 inning, gave up 6 earned runs after walking 5 batters. The Oaks ended up losing that contest 9-0. Clay Owen, first pitch into him on the outside part of the plate for a strike. The count 0-1 to the first baseman for the Orange County Riptide. Owen, so far this season, batting .300 on the year. He has 9 hits and 30 at-bats, so not a long season for Owen. His first game was on July 16th. Bouncing ball to first base, and it goes out of the chalk. So the count 0-2. Owen behind in the count. He struck out 8 times this season in his 30 at-bats. His best game of the year came against the Oaks. He couldn't muster up the win, but he did have 4 hits in 5 at-bats, including 2 extra base hits in the July 22nd performance against Conejo. That was the last time that Orange County traveled to the Conejo Oaks. Pickoff over to first, back in safely is Freeman. So Wexburg, he's trying to get his first strikeout of the day. He has 14 strikeouts and 14 walks on the year. Already 1 run has come in the inning. This being the deciding game for whatever team is going to make the playoffs. The 0-2 misses high and away, the count 1-2. If the Oaks win today, then an Oaks win tomorrow or an Orange County loss tomorrow would put the Oaks in playoffs. But if the Oaks lose today, then they're out for good. The tiebreaker comes down to total runs earned against, as the 1-2 misses outside. It was right on the black, but just off the plate, so the count 2-2. Currently, the Orange County Riptide given up 163 runs on the season, where the Oaks have given up 160 runs on the year. Pickoff back to first, Freeman back in safely. So as long as the Oaks get the W today, they will still be ahead in that column in the tiebreaker. That is the second tiebreaker, as these teams, if the Oaks win today, are tied in the head-to-head. Currently, Orange County has beat the Oaks 3 out of the 5 matchups that they've played against each other. Breaking ball just off the plate, so an 0-2 count has run full to Clay Owen.
So let me ask you a question. So if the Oaks win today, let's say 1-0, they would have given up 163 runs still, right? And let's say they lose tomorrow by 4 runs, and the Riptide, they win tomorrow by 4 runs.
As Wexburg lets Clay Owen go on a walk that goes upstairs, so now 2 runners on.
Would the Riptide then go ahead of the Oaks no matter what because of the run differential?
Well, if the Riptide win tomorrow and the Oaks lose tomorrow, then it would be the Riptide into the playoffs anyways. But if both teams win or both teams lose and the Riptide give up, or the Oaks give up 3 more runs than they do to the Riptide if all things were equal, the run scored is really going to have to be something to monitor after tomorrow. It gets convoluted and confusing if you're talking about it today. But depending on the score of today's game, if the Oaks win, let's say the Oaks win by 1 run, then it would be a 4-run game for the Oaks. It would be a 4-run lead. And then if they won tomorrow's game 1-0 and Orange County won 5-0, then they would be tied in runs scored and have to go to the next tiebreaker, which I'm not quite sure what that is. We haven't quite decided that yet or haven't been informed of that. But runs against right now is the tiebreaker from my understanding.
So it doesn't matter if the Oaks win today because they could lose by a lot tomorrow and still not make the playoffs if the Riptide give up less runs.
Yes, well, the Oaks have to win today. This is a suicide game for the Oaks. They have to win today.
But
if they win, they don't. If they win, there is still a chance that Orange County could outscore them, but Orange County would have to put on, in the next two games, more runs than the Oaks. They'd have to outscore the Oaks by 3, plus however many the Oaks beat them by today, as Melhoff squeezes the ball at third, throws over to first, and it's not in time, so the bases are loaded, the second infield single of the day. It's a bit confusing, but that is the understanding that I am under, at least, is that you have to be able to be winning in the runs scored category, and currently the Oaks are 3 games ahead, or the runs given up category, and currently the Oaks are 3 runs ahead in that category.
Okay, I was just a little bit confused because initially I believe you said that if the Oaks won today, then they would clinch the playoffs, and I was confused about the run division.
They do not clinch if they win today, but they do put themselves in the driver's seat.
Gotcha.
First pitch into Austin Krizik is a ball off the plate. The count 1-0 to Krizik. So Austin Krizik this season, he's both a pitcher and a hitter, batting .316 at the plate this year. Had an 0 for day yesterday. Or actually, he was not in the lineup yesterday. An 0 for day the last time he saw the lineup, as he watches the 1-0 in for a strike, the count 1-1. That was on July 28th against the Foresters. That was 3 days ago. The game before, he had one of his better hitting days of the season where he went 3 for 4 in a 3-2 win against the San Luis Obispo Blues. The 1-1 breaking ball, bouncing ball up the middle. Smith hops, flips to Naviak, and a fielder's choice at second base, but the run in Colton Freeman is going to come in to score. So an RBI fielder's choice for Austin Krizik, Gavin Hamovitz out on the base paths.
And that was just a slow chopper up the middle. Smith, he jumped up, fielded it, flipped it to Naviak, but there was no play at first. They could only get the play at second. It was the smart play, and because of that, there's 2 outs in the inning. 2 runs have come across, though. And right now, Wexburg, he just needs to settle down and just get this out to Rosas and really just get out of this inning with only 2 runs allowed.
So Emilio Rosas, he's the third baseman today for the Orange County Riptide. He has a runner on third and first base. 2 outs in the inning. Orange County trying to keep this inning alive. First pitch misses low and inside. The count 1-0. Emilio Rosas. So far this season for Rosas in conference play, he's batting .203. His average gets a little bit better if you look at the non-conference included with it. It's a .244 overall average on the year. The 1-0 misses outside, the count 2-0. Rosas hitless in his last 2 games. 0 for 3 against both the Blues and the Foresters. Those came on July 27th and 28th. He, along with Austin Krizik, didn't play in yesterday's game against the Arroyo Seco Saints. The 2-0, swinging a line drive to right field. Sandoval coming in is going to drop in front of him, and another run's going to come in to score. And that is going to make it a 3-0 lead as the RBI single by Rosas advances Krizik into scoring position and advances Owen to the plate.
And that was a tough ball for Sandoval right there. He's thinking about committing and diving for that ball. He decided to hold up, not dive, just let it fall in front of him. And it just allows 1 run to score instead of multiple runs that could have scored if he dove and missed the ball like we saw yesterday with Hunter Call. There he just did the safe thing, let the ball fall. Because of that, a run comes in to score in Owen, and now the game's 3-0, and this just hasn't been a great start for Lucian Wexburg right now in a do-or-die game for the Oaks.
So now a mound meeting. Pitching coach Scott Rudinsky goes out to talk to Lucian Wexburg. Brendan Durfee in there as well. A powwow at second base between JT Naviak, Grant Smith, and Brendan Bobo. And so the defensive alignment for the Oaks with Sandoval in right field, Hunter Call in center, Austin Carrillo in left. You also have Smith and Naviak in the middle of the infield, Melhoff at third, Boba at first, Durfee behind the dish. The Oaks, they're a little bit battered. TJ Foreman yesterday, he made a miraculous play running straight into the wall at San Luis Obispo. He has a minor back injury that held him out of this game. That's why you see Sandoval in right field and Collins center instead of the usual Sandoval in center and TJ Foreman in right, as now Mason Grace watches the first pitch in the dirt. Durfee able to find it quickly, the count 1-0. Grace, it doesn't look like has any at-bats on the season. He's not part of the hit chart on the Orange County Riptide. So this might be the first game that he's playing this year for Orange County. The middle infield for the Oaks also a little bit banged up. Grant Smith, a small finger injury that held him out of the game against the Santa Barbara Foresters as the 1-0 skied high into right field. Sandoval going back to the track, looking up, and catches it on the warning track. So Grace gave it a ride, but not enough, and this game is a Riptide lead 3-0. The Oaks, they're trying to fight back when we come back in the bottom of the first on the Oaks live stream. Back here in the bottom of the first inning, the Oaks trail 3-0, not the start that they wanted in this game. Tony Roby on the hill for the Orange County Riptide. He's going to face off against Austin Carrillo, Anson Arrows, and Brendan Bobo. Carrillo, he's playing left field today. The defensive positioning for the Riptide, you have Mason Grace behind the dish, Emilio Rosas at third, Davis Diaz at shortstop, Gavin Hamovitz at second, Clay Owen at first in the infield, and then Freeman, Simmons, and Allen from right to left in the outfield. Carrillo squares to Bond, watches the pitch low. Count quickly 1-0 to Austin Carrillo, who on the season is batting .275 with a 444 on base percentage this year. He has been especially hot as of late with the bat as the 1-0 runs inside, gets to the backstop, and the count 2-0. Carrillo facing off against Tony Roby, the Riptide pitcher, who on the season is a 3.07 ERA, 2 wins and 2 losses to his name this year. 49 strikeouts and 38 innings pitched. A high velocity and high power pitcher as the 2-0 Carrillo watches at the knees for a strike, the count 2-1. And Roby, That strikeout number is impressive, but his best start, and even more impressive, was the appearance on July 7th against the Conejo Oaks, in which he went 7 innings, allowed just 2 hits, and not a single run given up. As the 2-1 misses low and away, the count is 3-1.
Yeah, Roby in that game, he pitched 100 pitches in those 7 innings, had 10 strikeouts throughout that whole performance. He was just absolutely shoving against the Oaks. It was just a great game for the Riptide from the start as they won 9-0, but the Oaks, it was just a tough game for them.
Carrillo, ground ball to first base, and it's outside of the bag. It was a close play down the line. It was eerily similar to Davis Diaz's leadoff double, but just a few inches outside of the bag, and Austin Carrillo takes a strike instead of extra bases. The count is full at 3-2.
Yeah, that was really close right there. I thought it was possibly going to be fair, just similar to the Diaz play. Diaz's was a little bit more in fair territory, but right there, the umpire, he calls it foul. It is foul, and now the count's full to Carrillo.
So 3 balls, 2 strikes to Austin Carrillo. Tony Roby, 49 strikeouts on the season. Austin Carrillo, only 12 to his name this year. Swinging a line drive. Heimovitz dives, keeps it on the infield at second base, throws to first. Not in time to get Carrillo. The first baseman, Clay Owen, had to jump for the ball, was off the bag, and what looked like a web gem from Gavin Heimovitz was negated by Clay Owen not being able to keep his foot on the bag. So an infield single for Austin Carrillo to get a leadoff base runner on for the Oaks.
And that was just a heck of a play by Heimovitz right there. I mean, he dove. It was a high chopper to his left side, and I mean, man, it was a really, really nice play right there for him. But Carrillo goes down the line, beats the throw, and, you know, he's there at first after Owens is elevated, and now he has a chance with a runner on, nobody out for the Oaks.
Anson Arrows to the dish now. He's the designated hitter today. Squares to bunt, pulls it back. The pitch misses high. The count 1-0. Arrows this season, the same batting average as Austin Carrillo, both of them at .275. Arrows has the slight edge in the on-base percentage battle as he has a .469 OBP on the season with an .802 slugging to finish out, or OPS rather, a .333 slugging. Arrows watches a strike catch the outside part of the zone. The count is even at 1-1 to Anson Arrows. And so I was talking about a little bit of the ailments for the Oaks at the end of the last inning as Arrows bounces one outside of first base foul, the count 1-2. I was in the middle of talking about Grant Smith and his ailments. A finger injury held him out against the Santa Barbara Foresters. He was back in the lineup against the Slow Blues yesterday, but was hit by a pitch in that game. That came in the 4th inning. He saw one more at-bat, but he said that he was struggling to swing the bat in the 5-pitch walk that he saw as Arrows lines one to center field. That's going to get down. Carrillo had to hold up in case Simmons was able to catch the ball, but back-to-back singles puts runners on second and first base with no outs in the inning.
Yeah, and that was a hard line drive for Arrows right there. A lefty in the box because of the switch hitting ability for Arrows, and going against the righty Roby, lines it towards left center field. It was a nice line drive hit ball. It was a level ball, and it got down. Carrillo, a little bit of confusion whether he should go or not because Simmons was charging hard. It did drop, and Carrillo goes to second, Arrows at first, and this is a great response for the Oaks to have 2 hits to start after giving up 3 runs in the top of the inning.
First pitch to Brendan Bobo, misses low and inside, the count 1-0. Bobo on the season, he's batting .266 with a .354 on base percentage. .484 slugging percentage, that's the highest on the team. He also has the highest OPS of anyone that has seen over 10 at-bats this season. As Bobo fights one back to the screen, the count 1-1. And so, Grant Smith, his ailments yesterday forced him to be pinch hit for in the 8th inning, but he's battling through today, getting the start at second base. We'll see how he's able to grip the ball with his throwing hand with the finger injury on that hand, and then on his glove hand, a wrist injury where he got hit by the pitch yesterday. And the other middle infielder, JT Naviak, he has a small ailment on his arm as well. So a little bit banged up in the fielding department for the Oaks, but there's only 2 games left in the regular season. It's a long season, and it's a battle as Brendan Bobo gets ahead in the count 2-1 after the pitch misses outside. And the Oaks They are trying to battle through and make it to Lincoln. Bobo skies one into shallow right field. Underneath it is Colton Freeman. Carrillo tagging at second base. The throw to third is not going to be in time, so runners on the corners and one down after the fly ball from Brendan Bobo brings Austin Carrillo 90 feet from home.
And that ball was absolutely skied by Bobo. That was probably one of the highest hit balls I've seen at this park all season. I mean, it just went straight up in the air. Not a lot of distance to it, as it just was kind of in that mid-range in right field. Freeman came under it, made the catch, and then threw it all the way across, trying to go to third. Rosas, the third baseman, he came up a little bit, and he had to jump really, really high to try to catch the ball from Freeman. And if he doesn't jump up and catch that ball, then Carrillo maybe has a chance to come home, because there wasn't a lot of people backing him up right behind him.
Brendan Durfee, he's catching today, batting fourth. The first pitch to him, swung on line into right field. That's going to bring in Carrillo. Arrows trying to go first to third, but he has the stop sign held up. So Durfee gets a single, advances every runner one bag, and brings this game to just a 2-run Riptide lead. It's 3-1.
And you love to see that from Durfee. He's a cleanup hitter today. They put him there. It's his birthday. First pitch to him, he singles to right, gets an RBI. That scores Carrillo, driving in the other Cal Lutheran guy. Durfee, a Cal Lutheran guy, driving in Carrillo, the Cal Lutheran guy, a Kingsman connection. And already a run in this inning, a great response from the Oaks right now.
So happy Durf Day to Brendan Durfee. Grant Smith watches a first pitch strike in at the knees. The count 0-1 to Smith, who we mentioned battling a few injuries on his hands today. Wrist injury on his left hand and a finger injury on his right. The 0-1. Smith watches it, miss outside. The count 1-1. Smith, so far this season, batting .250 with a .400 on-base percentage. Early in this game, a crucial one. Situational hitting for the Oaks is going to be key. Grant Smith with a runner in scoring position. The 1-1, breaking ball in the zone on the inside half. The count 1-2. And so now Grant Smith has to battle. This season, Smith has struck out 22 times. That is third on the team in Ks, only behind Raul Sandoval and Brendan Bobo. Roby still searching for his first K of the day. The 1-2, Smith stays alive, fights off a pitch on the outside part of the plate, and you could see after that swing, Smith shaked his left hand where he has that pinky injury. Might be a little bit banged up, fighting through the pain, and still giving it his all, but you can tell it's bothering him.
Well, his pinky injury is on his right hand, not his left hand. His left hand is where he got hit by a pitch yesterday.
Yes, you're absolutely right. My apologies. He did shake his left hand. The 1-2, upstairs, fastball. Smith couldn't catch up, and it is a strikeout and 2 outs as Grant Smith goes back to the dugout, and Greg Melhoff comes to the plate.
And Grant Smith in that bat, you could tell that that injury was really holding him back. It just didn't seem like the right batting stance for Smith. He looked like he was just taking a lot of pitches, and that's really what happened. He got down 1-2 after taking 3 pitches, and then after that he had to swing. He fouled off a pitch, and you could see he had a lot of pain in that right afterwards, and then swung and missed on a pitch, and that's why he was sent down. Roby's first strikeout of the day.
Greg Melhoff, he's batting 167 on the season. 224 on base, trying to come up with a big hit here. First pitch, outside part of the plate, that catches the zone on the top of the zone. So the count 0-1. So a pitch that just caught the corner on the high and outside part puts Melhoff behind in the count 0-1. Greg Melhoff yesterday, he reached base once in the 6th inning on a 4-pitch walk. He also struck out twice and flew out once. Now is 1 pitch away from striking out again as he swings and misses on a pitch in the dirt. Count 0-2. Tony Roby, he got his first strikeout of the game and 50th of the season against Grant Smith in the last at-bat, searching for his 51st against Greg Melhoff, who has 19 strikeouts on the season, even though he only came about halfway through the year. The 0-2, Melhoff skies one into left center field. Simmons on the run, and the gap underneath it makes the play, And the inning is over. So the Oaks strand 2, but not after scoring 1 in the inning after the Brendan Durfee RBI single. That was one of 3 hits in the inning. We'll be back for the top of the second on the Oaks live stream. Orange County leads 3-1. Top of the second inning, Lucian Wexberg still on the hill. He's facing off against 9-1-2 in the inning. Dwight Allen, Davis Diaz, Terrence Simmons, the men he's going to be up against here in the second inning. Wexberg, he gave up 3 runs in the first inning. Time called as it now looks like the home plate umpire is talking to Dwight Allen. And so Wexberg trying to have a more successful second inning than he did in the first. First pitch into Allen, squares to bunt. Breaking ball misses low. The count 1-0. Dwight Allen, he's used to try to turn the lineup over. Hasn't been too successful at the plate on the season, even though he was a showcase member in the outfield. The 1-0 pitch gets the zone for a strike, the count 1-1. Allen batting .259 on the year.
And he's just had a cold second half of the season. At the first game against the Oaks, July 7th.
As the 1-1 catches the zone on the low and outside part of the plate, the count 1-2.
He was batting over 300 at 306, and he's just gone on a real cold streak, but does have 1 hit in each of his last 3 games.
He has, you're right, 1 hit in each of his last 3 games, but that came after a 3-game hitless streak. So just 3 hits in his last 6 games for Dwight Allen as he watches the 1-2 pitch miss above the letters. So the count 2-2 to Allen. Dwight Allen hails from the University of Georgia as the 2-2 breaking ball that caught him looking outside part of the plate, and Wexberg picks up his first K of the day. It's backwards as Dwight Allen, head down, walks back to the dugout.
It's a good at-bat for Wexberg right there. 5 pitches, gets him looking, and a great out to start this inning. Already 1 out, and gave up 3 runs last inning. You can forget about it. Just start over here in the second. Your offense seemed to be pretty hot in the bottom of the inning. 3 hits and 1 run, so might as well just start throwing lights out.
First pitch into Davis Diaz, a strike. Diaz, his first time up, he doubled, then came around to score. That double went right inside of the first base bag past Brendan Bobo. The 0-1 on the outside part of the plate for a strike again. The count 0-2 to Davis Diaz. Wexberg, he's trying to pick up his 2nd strikeout of the season. Davis Diaz, 17 strikeouts in conference play this year. Breaking ball make it 18 as another backwards K for Wexburg. Got the backwards K to Dwight Allen and threw 3 straight strikes to Davis Diaz to sit down the second man of the inning.
Yeah, and man, Wexford's had to be feeling good after that strikeout to Allen because, like you said, 3 pitches, 3 strikes to Davis Diaz, and the third pitch that he threw, a filthy breaking ball that got him looking right at the knees.
First pitch misses outside to Terrence Simmons, the count 1-0. And so 2 SEC guys that Lucian Wexburg just got looking backwards Ks too. A Georgia man in Dwight Allen and then a Vandy boy in Davis Diaz. Both went down on strikes. Count even here to Terrence Simmons at 1-1.
Yeah, future Vandy boy in Davis Diaz. He's like Ansonero's going to be a freshman in the fall.
He drifts out of the SEC now going up against a Connecticut member as the 1-1 misses low and away, the count 2-1. And what do you know what conference UConn is for baseball? I know that they're in the American for football.
I think, the Big East.
The Big East, yes.
Yeah, because every sport except for football is in the Big East.
That's what my guess would have been. But that's why you're the expert, as Terrence Simmons swings over a fastball, the count 2-2.
And who knows where UConn will be in the next 2 years with the conference realignments that we're possibly going to be seeing with Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. Who knows where UConn's going to be? Who knows what conferences will even exist?
The 2-2 rolled over to Grant Smith in shallow right field, throws to first in time, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Lucian Wexburg. He got 2 Ks in the inning to sit down the Riptide in short order. Bottom of the second inning coming up, the Oaks try to claw back from a 2-run deficit on the Oaks live stream. Bottom of the second inning, Ryan Milano and Knight Uretsky with you. The Oaks trail 3-1. Raul Sandoval, Hunter Call, and JT Naviak, 7, 8, and 9 due up against Tony Roby. First pitch misses high and away, the count 1-0. This is not your typical bottom of the order. Raul Sandoval, he's seen himself over the last few weeks in a majority of games in the 4-hole as he gets ahead 2-0 after watching the second pitch miss high and tight. Then Hunter Call, his on-base percentage is absolutely through the roof, a .477 on the year. That is the most of any Oak that has more than 10 at-bats this season. He watches a strike in the zone, Sandoval does. Right down the pipe, the count 2-1. And then JT Naviak, he's improved his batting average significantly over the season and is now in the 9-hole trying to turn the lineup over as Sandoval watches the fourth pitch of the at-bat miss high. It's a hitter's count 3-1 to Raul. The 3-1, Roby at the knees, catches a strike, and the count has run full. Raul Sandoval, he's been susceptible to the strikeout this season. He has 36 Ks on the year, batting just 156 on the season. The 3-2, just off the outside corner. Grace tried to frame it. He couldn't do it, and a leadoff man is on for the Oaks with a 6-pitch walk to Raul Sandoval.
Yeah, and that was a really, really close pitch right there from Sandoval. Got it to go in his favor, and the Oaks, they have their leadoff runner on for the second inning in a row. It was a 6-pitch at bat to Sandoval, which is really good. Tony Roby, his last time he pitched 7 innings against the Oaks, and he threw 100 pitches. Already 29 pitches for Roby through just 1 inning, and now 1 batter here in the second.
Hunter Call now comes to the plate. He's batting .234 on the season. I already mentioned the .477 on base percentage. First pitch above the letters. Grace drops it, but able to catch it before it can get away from him. So Raul stays at first base. Hunter Call, that high on base percentage due to 18 walks on the season. That is the highest number of any Oak that is still with the team. Austin Carrillo right behind him with 17. The 1-0 to Call. Above the letters again, so the count 2-0. Roby, we saw him earlier this season have elite stuff. It has not been the same type of stuff today for Roby. He's already allowed 4 base runners and threw more balls today than he might have thrown in the entire 7 innings against the Oaks the first time he pitched against them, as the 2-0 in there for a strike on the inside part of the plate, 2-1. And Hunter Call, he likes to get deep in counts. That's been his biggest asset and also the biggest Achilles heel in Call's game. He has 20 strikeouts on the season. A large portion of them have come looking. This one lined to shortstop. Sandoval gets caught off of first base on a double play. Sandoval was running on contact, and a quick hard hit line drive to Davis Diaz results in 2 outs as Sandoval is doubled off of first base.
Yeah, and Sandoval knew right there. It was hit right to Diaz. Diaz didn't have to move much. He caught it, and Sandoval was halfway between first and second. He just looked down and knew he was out. The throw over to first by Diaz was in time, and now 2 outs. And what looked like a promising inning for the Oaks, now 2 outs and nobody on.
JT Naviak comes to the plate. First pitch to him, ground ball to third, fielded, and throws over to first is Rosas. Naviak, he's shaken up. He did not run all the way to first base. He had an injury coming into this game, and now he is squatted in between home plate and first base down the line. And it looks like Coach Solis is going out to check on him, and I wouldn't be surprised if the head trainer would come out and check on him as well. Probably going to be a defensive change for the Oaks. JT Naviak, not a great sight. As we mentioned, he was banged up coming into the game.
You can already see Cabral running out to play shortstop right now.
And so we'll be back for the top of the 3rd inning, hopefully with some word on JT Naviak's status. He's now walking off under his own power, but his day is likely done. Back here in the top of the 3rd inning, Ryan Milano and Knight Uretsky. After the Oaks and Riptide both put runs on the board in the first, it was 1, 2, 3 innings for both Wexberg and Roby. Wexberg trying to pick up where he left off in the second inning against Colton Freeman. First pitch. Catches the zone, low and outside. The count 0-1 to Freeman. Colton Freeman, a man out of Dartmouth. The 0-1. Bouncing ball up the middle. Cabral, the new fill-in at shortstop, throws to first. It's in time. And the first out of the inning on 2 pitches as Freeman goes down with a ground out.
And you hate to see JT Naviak in this game leave with an injury. He's already battling that injury, and really after swinging it, you could tell he was in a lot of pain. He couldn't go down first base. And right there, the defensive realignment with Cabral now in for Naviak makes the play, and it's a nice play.
Skied into shallow left field. Cabral going back, Carrillo coming in, and a single's going to drop as Clay Owen flares one off the end of the bat in between the defense to put a runner on first base.
And that was just a blooper to left, and Cabral, he was trucking back for it, couldn't get it, but he barehanded it off one bounce and then threw it in quickly to second. So it was a nice play by Cabral after the single dropped from Owen.
That's the second time that Clay Owen has reached base today. He walked on 6 pitches in the first, and now swung at the first pitch he saw, able to put it in play. First pitch is a strike to Gavin Hamovitz, the count 0-1. Hamovitz's last time up, he singled on a 4-pitch at-bat. He was then caught out on a fielder's choice. He was part of a big inning, did not get an RBI with that single as the 0-1 misses. Count 1-1. Gavin Hamovitz this season, batting .429 on the year. He hasn't played too much for the Riptide. Only 28 at-bats this season, but very good in those at-bats as he lines one to left field. Carrillo coming in. It's going to bounce right in front of him. Picks it on a short hop, and Hamovitz, that batting average is going to continue to surge as he now has a 2-for-2 day brewing.
Yeah, and Hamovitz, he's just swung the bat really well against the Oaks, and the Oaks 8-7 victory against the Riptide. Hamovitz went 3 for 3 in that game and also reached base on a walk, and right there you could see he's batting over 400. He had the 429 coming into the game, and right there rips another single, his second single of the day.
Austin Krizik grounded into an RBI fielder's choice in the first inning. Breaking ball finds the zone for a strike, the count 0-1, and that breaking ball for Wexberg, it has been perfection all day. It's a 12-6 curve that starts at 12 o'clock, drops to 6 o'clock, and it is immaculate. The 0-1, fastball, skied into shallow center field. Call coming in, makes the catch. Owen does an attempt to tag, and 2 outs in the inning.
And Wexberg went with the fastball, like you said, right after dropping the curveball. Got Krizik to swing on that, and because of it, just wasn't really necessarily ready for that fastball. Got a little bit of good contact on it, but he sent it to shallow center field. Call came in, made the play, and that's a great response to get an out after allowing back-to-back singles. And now Wexberg, 2 outs in the inning. Don't really need to worry about the runners on base, just need to get the out at the plate in Rosas.
Emilio Rosas this season has 11 RBIs, watches a slider run off the plate, the count 1-0. So Wexberg, a troublesome inning in the first, an immaculate inning in the second, and now a mediocre inning in the third, sort of in between the first and second. Hopefully for him, he's trying to get out of it after just 2 hits allowed. This one, line drive on a hop to Cabral. Backhands it, throws to first. Bobo has to jump, and he tags the runner. An athletic play at first from Brendan Bobo to end the inning and save a run as Emilio Rosas got tagged out running up the line. That is going to do it for the top of the third inning. 2 runners unstranded on 2 hits. No runs come across, and Brendan Bobo saves what would have been an error on the throw from Daniel Cabral. We're headed to the bottom of the third inning. This game's 3-1 on the Oaks live stream. bottom of the third inning sees the second time through the order for the Oaks. Austin Carrillo leading things off in the third inning after he led off things in the bottom of the first with a full count single. He was the only run that's come to score so far today for the Oaks. First pitch, squares to bunt, put it down the third base line and outside of the chalk, the count 0-1.
And Carrillo, he likes to bunt a lot, and right there, he just didn't get the best angle on his bat right there. Even if it did go in fair territory, it looked like it was going to be a far hit bunt, and it would have went right to the third baseman, Rosas, and there would have been a play at first.
No balls, one strike. Roby, breaking ball, bounces on the back foot. Tried to go for a back foot slider. Carrillo didn't bite. The count 1-1. Anson Arrows, Brendan Bobo, the next men on deck for the Oaks. The 1-1. Carrillo skies one to right field. Freeman fighting off the sun, fields it with his glove. So a dual-purpose use of the glove for Colton Freeman in right. A sunshade and the catching device as he gets out Austin Carrillo on 3 pitches.
And Carrillo, he just flew out right to right field. Freeman didn't have to move much, but the sun really blinding Freeman there. That'll be an interesting to see throughout the game if that affects the plays, because at Cal Lutheran, we all know the wind blows towards right field, so there's going to be a lot of plays towards right, and so it'll be interesting to see if the sun will be a factor moving forward in this game.
Anson Arrows to the dish for the second time today. Squares to bunt, pulls it back. It's a strike. 0-1 the count. Arrows, his last time up, he was able to get aboard with a single. Arrows, he was red hot to start the season as the 0-1 pitch gets to the outside part of the zone for a strike, the count 0-2. He's cooled down a little bit as of late since the showcase break. His batting average at one point was around 350. Right now, it's around 260. So it has dipped a little bit. The 0-2 count. Arrows lines one into right field. That's going to get down. A 2-for-2 day is going to improve that batting average as he gets the first base runner on in the third inning for the Oaks.
And both the balls that Anson Arrows has hit today have been really good line drives. The first one, it was to left center field, and that one he pulled it towards right field, and it was a nice line drive that dropped right in front of Freeman. Great singles for Anson Arrows, and you know, a guy that hasn't had a hit in his last 2 games, way to bounce back and get 2 hits today.
That's going to bring up Brendan Bobo. Last time up, he flew out to Colton Freeman and advanced Austin Carrillo to third base, allowed him to score on the next at-bat. Bobo swings and misses at a ball low and outside, so the count 0-1. Bobo yesterday, he had an 0-for-3 day with 3 strikeouts. He reached base once with a walk. That came off a astounding performance as he lines one to right field. That drops in front of Freeman. Arrows going first to third. The throw from Freeman not going to be in time. It's cut off. Bobo diving back to first. He's out at first base. Tried to swim the tag. A smart play on the cutoff from Davis Diaz to get out Brendan Bobo. Put 2 outs in the inning. And that is a big out because instead of runners on the corners with 1 down, it's just a runner on third with 2 outs, and it puts a lot of pressure on this at-bat from Brendan Durfee.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play by Diaz right there to cut it off. And Bobo, he was taking a long round around first after Arrows went to third. The throw was going to third, and because of the cutoff, it caught Bobo by surprise. He couldn't get back to first in time, and it's just an unfortunate play for Bobo, but a heck of a play by the young shortstop.
First pitch to Durfee, ground ball up the middle. Hamovitz dives, keeps it on the infield, throws to first. First baseman stays on the bag, and Gavin Hamovitz, he's been flashing the leather at second base all day, and that time he saves a run as Brendan Durfee not able to get a hit. The Oaks strand a runner on third base after 2 hits in the inning. We head to the top of the 4th inning as the Riptide still hold a 3-1 lead. Ryan Milano, Knight Uretsky here for the fourth inning. If you've been listening to the Oaks for a while, which a lot of you have, you know the drill. That means it's Knight's time for play-by-play.
Thank you, Ryan.
Congratulations, buddy. You get the next 3 innings.
Thank you. Mason Grace, Dwight Allen, Davis Diaz due up for the Riptide here in the fourth. 3-1 the score. Orange County, they lead. First pitch from Lucian Wexberg misses outside. 1-0 the count. Wexberg, he's been attacking with that first pitch off-speed pitch. Missed right there outside. 1-0 the count to Grace. Second pitch of the at-bat. This one's fouled off by the catcher. 1-1 the count. Grace, he flew out the first time. That ended the first inning. Flew out to the right fielder, Raul Sandoval, on the second pitch he saw after he got ahead 1-0. And now it looked like he maybe broke his bat, and he's going to go back to the dugout and talk about it.
I'm not sure he's going to talk about it. He's gossiping with the players about his broken bat. He's really upset about it. It looks like, did he even get a new bat?
I don't know. Oh, he
just needed pine tar.
There you go.
It's not sticky enough. You don't want that bat flying out of your hands.
Getting a little bit more tar on it.
Remember earlier in the season where we saw someone fling a bat over the dugout of the opposing team?
Yeah, that's true. That was crazy.
What team was that? Was that Santa Barbara?
No, I don't want to say it's Santa Barbara. Oh, gosh, who was that?
Feels like a vague memory to this point, but
yeah,
it was one of the funnier things we've seen all year.
Nevertheless, 1-1 the count. The pitch to Grace. That one bounces in, and now Grace is ahead 2-1.
Knight, it's almost a little bit time to reflect on the season. I know the season isn't over, and this game is very important, but, you know, it's been a fun summer. Reflection is fun.
The 2-1 misses, and now the count's 3-1. Yeah, we can talk about that later in the game, but Wexberg so far, 40 pitches.
So dismissive, Knight.
And now a walk from Grace, a 5-pitch at bat, 50 pitches, so that's the 55th pitch after that one. And heading over to first is Grace. Dwight Allen now coming up. So Wexberg, he had 2 runners on last inning, got back-to-back outs from a fly out by Krizik and a ground out by Rosas to end the inning. Now has to deal with a runner on, nobody out, and the left fielder in Dwight Allen. First pitch. This one's ground to the left side. Cabral fields it, flips it to Smith at second. The throw to first, a double play. Lucian Wexberg, 1 pitch, 2 outs. And now, here in the fourth, Davis Diaz, the leadoff man, coming up, but a great response by Wexberg.
It's a really just good routine play by everyone. Wexberg induces a ground ball. Cabral knows that he can get the force out at second with a chance to turn 2. And Grant Smith, a beautiful relay. He's a little bit banged up. That's not going to stop him from getting 2 outs.
So Diaz, the shortstop. First pitch to him. Swings at a ball in the dirt. It was a half swing. Nevertheless, a strike. 0-1 the count. Diaz up for the 3rd time today. Struck out looking on 3 pitches in the second. Wexberg got him fooled. And now 4 straight strikes to him. Did have a double to lead off the game in the first. Pitch misses inside. Count now 1-1.
And Dwight Allen, I'm not sure he likes Lucian Wexberg very much. Struck out looking his first time up and then grounded into a double play. Wexberg has had his number throughout the first 4 innings.
The 1-1 misses just below the knees. That was a close call. Went the way of the Riptide, and now 2-1 the count.
That was just a really good executed pitch, even though it was called a ball. It was right where Wexberg wanted it, slightly on the outside part of the plate, right at the knees.
Off-speed pitch. That one catches the zone for a strike. It's called to Diaz, and now the count's 2-2. Davis Diaz yesterday was 0 for 5, but prior to that had a 2 for 4 day against the Foresters July 28th, and the game before that he had 3 for 4 day with a double. Has a double here today as he now grounds one to Cabral, the shortstop. He bobbles it, picks it up, throws to first. He's out. Davis Diaz grounds out to Cabral. The bobble doesn't matter. A 1-2-3 inning for Lucian Wexberg, and we head to the bottom half of this inning. 3-1 the score. You are listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Riptide, they're leading 3-1. Grant Smith, he's coming up to the plate to face off against Tony Roby for the 2nd time today. First pitch to Smith. Looked at, called a strike. 0-1 the count. Grant Smith had a similar situation to Roby. He saw the first 3 pitches, looked at them all, got behind 1-2, fouled off a pitch, but then struck out swinging on the 5th pitch to him. Now, 2nd pitch to him, looked at, called a strike, back-to-back similar pitches, off-speed pitches on the outside part of the plate, and Smith now down 0-2.
And Grant Smith, he might be a little bit more selective today. He admitted to us that yesterday in the 6th inning on the 5-pitch walk, he didn't really want to swing.
Pitch inside, and now they count 1-2.
And that was due to him being banged up after the hit by pitch yesterday, as well as the finger injury. Tough for him to swing the bat, so he might be a little more selective today as well.
1-2 pitch from Roby. Smith grounded it to the left side. Coming in as Rosas, the third baseman. He throws across the diamond, and Smith's retired for the 2nd time today. He's been battling an injury and didn't get good contact on that one, and it's an out here in the 4th.
And that just shows how much of a gladiator that Grant Smith is. Doesn't matter that he's banged up. Everyone's banged up. Grant Smith will still come to the dish. He'll still come to play, and he'll fight his butt off in the plate and in the batter's box right there. Protects with 2 strikes, puts the ball in play. He just didn't get the contact he was looking for.
First pitch to Greg Melhoff, misses, 1-0 the count. Melhoff, his first time up, saw 2 strikes before flying out to the center fielder, Terrence Simmons. Now standing in 2nd time today, 1-0 the count, the pitch from Roby. Swing and a miss from Melhoff, and the count's even 1-1. And swinging and missing has been a thing for Greg Melhoff as of late. He has 2 strikeouts in each of his last 4 games. So on a little bit of a strikeout streak is Melhoff. The 1-1 misses inside, and now the count's 2-1. During that stretch in those 4 games with those 8 strikeouts, he only has 2 hits. So he hasn't been getting hits as of late. Only a 184 batting average on the year. Pitch outside, and now the count's 3-1, a hitter's count to Melhoff.
Yeah, Mason Grace tried to do his best to frame that one to steal a strike for Tony Roby. Just a little bit too far out the plate, and the home plate umpire wasn't fooled by the frame job.
The 3-1, Melhoff lines it to Diaz. He can't catch it. It's off his glove. He stands up, throws across the diamond, and Melhoff's retired despite the ball going in and out of Diaz's glove.
And it looked like Melhoff got a little bit of a poor jump out of the batter's box. He might have saw that the ball was going right to Diaz and wasn't sprinting out of the box. Once the ball was dropped, he tried to book it down the line. It just wasn't in time, and Diaz was able to get him out.
So 9 pitches in the inning, 2 outs for Tony Roby, and he's been dominant after that first inning. He had 11-pitch, 1-2-3 inning in the second, and then a 9-pitch inning in the third where 2 runners were able to get hits, but 1 was left stranded in Anson Arrows. First pitch to Raul Sandoval, misses, 1-0 the count. It's been the same story for Lucian Wexberg as well. Wexberg had a 27-pitch inning in the first that he allowed 3 runs, but since then, a 13-pitch inning, a 10-pitch inning, and an 11-pitch inning. As the second pitch to Sandoval inside, 2-0 now. Sandoval, his first time up, he walked on 6 pitches. He got a full count before taking the free trip to first base. That was in the second inning. He was then doubled up after Hunter Call lined out to Davis Diaz. Sandoval was halfway between first and second, and he was out on the throwback. He now fouls off a pitch, and 2-1 the count.
And Raul Sandoval, he doesn't walk often. He has 104 plate appearances this season. He's only walked 6 times coming into today. After that walk in the second inning, it's 7 for 105.
Sandoval looks at a pitch inside, and now the count's 3-1. Sandoval in his last 2 games is 0 for 9. Did pick up hits in the 2 games prior to that one. 1 for 2 against the Barons, July 27th, and 1 for 4 against the Foresters, July 25th. 0 for 0 today with the walk. Now swings and fouls off the 3-1. Similar situation to him in the second. Has a full count here against Tony Roby.
And Sandoval, he hasn't been successful that much against the Riptide either. In 19 at-bats to this point against Orange County, he has just 2 hits. It's a 105 average.
The payoff pitch. Sandoval fouls it off, stays alive. We're going to do the full count pitch again.
And so in this crucial game against Orange County, if you look at the season stats, the Riptide have had Conejo's number. The Riptide average 8.2 runs per game. The Oaks average 4.2 when these two teams face off.
The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss from Sandoval. A 1-2-3 inning for Tony Roby as he picks up his second strikeout of the day to Sandoval. We head to the 5th inning. 3-1 the score. The Riptide, they lead. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Thank you, Redsky. Ryan Milano with you. Top of the 5th inning. 3-1 the score. The Riptide, they're leading after a 3-run first inning for the Riptide, a 1-run first inning for the Oaks. And since then, both pitchers have shut out all the innings so far. Wexford, like we said, an 11-pitch, 1-2-3 inning, last inning in the 4th. First pitch to Terrence Simmons, misses outside, 1-0 the count. Simmons today, he's 0 for 2, had a ground out to the second baseman Grant Smith in the second. And he also grounded out to the shortstop. At the time, it was JT Naviak. That was in the first. Naviak was injured, and now Daniel Cabral's playing at the shortstop spot as this one's fouled off by Simmons. 1-1 the count. Simmons, at the All-Star break, he just really wasn't swinging the bat well. Had a 189 batting average after the break. Since then, he's gotten a hot bat. He's raised his batting average to as high as 338. Now his batting average 295. Pitch misses outside, and now 2-1 the count to Terrence Simmons.
And you love Terrence Simmons' hot streak. Even when we were off air, you were talking about Terrence Simmons' hot streak. He's really caught your eye.
Well, I mean, raising a batting average from 180 as a swing and a miss from Simmons, count even 2-2. We were talking about it. The first time these two teams played was July 16th. And Simmons at the time was batting 189. You were saying, oh, Simmons, he's not really a threat. In that game, he went 3 for 3, had 3 RBIs as well as a double, a home run, a triple, a home run, and a single. And now a 2-2 pitch to Simmons inside, count 3-2.
I don't fault you for it. He's been phenomenal.
And yeah, ever since then, I mean, going from a 189 batting average to raising it to 338 at one point, that's when I really started to notice. I was like, wow.
He had a 1 OPS at one point as well.
Yeah. OPS of 1.011. The payoff pitch, Simmons going to ground it in the infield, fielded by Wexberg, the pitcher. He flips it to first, and one is gone as Simmons is retired for the 3rd time today.
So he had that high batting average, and since then it hasn't been as successful for him. Hitless in his last 3 games where he had 11 at-bats coming into today where he hadn't recorded a hit. Now today, 0 for 3 to start his day.
Yep. So his batting average was at 338, and then since then, the hitless streak, it's brought it down to 295 and 0 for 3 so far. First pitch to Colton Freeman, misses, 1-0 the count. The 0 for 3 day through the first 5 innings, the first 3 appearances for Simmons. That's going to drop the batting average even further. Second pitch called, a strike to Freeman, 1-1 the count. Freeman today, 1 for 2. Had a ground out in the third, but prior to that in the first, he had an RBI single. The 1-1 pitch to him. Looked at, misses, 2-1 now.
And what Colton Freeman's been doing at the plate has been more impressive than Terrence Simmons. Their batting averages right now are about the same, but Colton Freeman has just been so consistent all season long, batting in the 300 for the entire year.
Pitch misses, and now the count's 3-1 to Colton Freeman. You're right, he's been batting over 300 throughout the year. He was at 349 at one point. That average has dropped to 305, but still very impressive for the Dartmouth product. Misses inside, and there's the Freeman flying to first, his signature sprint to first. It's all for looks.
You do you, Colton Freeman.
Every time that Colton Freeman walks against the Oaks, he just puts his head down and sprints down to first base. Some of the Oaks players, they don't like it. Freeman, he doesn't care. He's at first. It's now coming up to the plate. Clay Owen, the first baseman. First pitch to him, swings and misses. Wexberg got him, swinging at a pitch low in the zone. Now 0-1 the count. Owen today had a single in the third. He walked in the first. He came around to score in the first. He was the third run that came in, the third run of the day. And now the pitch to him misses. He held back, and now the count's even 1-1.
And so Wexberg, he really located the zone well throughout the first two innings, even though he did get hit a little bit in the first. Since then, he's been getting behind in counts a little bit, especially in the fourth and fifth inning. He's lost a little bit of location as the game has gone on. He's gotten a little fatigued.
2-1 the count after the pitch misses low and in the dirt. Owen, that single in the third inning, was on the first pitch to him, sent it to the outfield. He was able to reach, and now looking to get on for the third time today. Freeman at first. They throw back. In there safely is Freeman. Bobo there did not tag him. Ball back in Wexberg's hand. 2-1 the count, 1 out. Freeman thought about going.
I think he's just trying to toy with Wexberg right there. He took a very aggressive lead as Wexberg had already checked him, and the Oaks, their dugout and the defensive members, told him just to step off the mound and reset.
The 2-1 misses high, and now the count's 3-1 to Clay Owen. Owen, he's batting 300 on the year, although he's only played 8 games. He's a USC product. Now has a hitter's count, 3-1, 1 out. The pitch from Wexberg. That one's above the letters, and a walk for Clay Owen, his second walk of the day. Third time reaching first safely. Over to second is Freeman. And now with 1 out, 2 runners on for the Riptide.
And that's going to prompt someone to go get active in the Oaks bullpen. I just saw pitching coach Scott Radinsky go tell Donovan Waitman to relay some information to some of the pitchers that are not in the dugout sitting by the batting cages. So we'll see who trots out to the bullpen for the Oaks. But there is going to be action in the Oaks pen as Cody Sulak, he's suited up to go and catch in the bullpen for them.
First pitch to Gavin Hamovitz. Called a strike. Got the off-speed pitch to fall right there for Wexberg. 0-1 the count. Hamovitz, he's been impressive today. 2 singles. His last one was in the third, was a hard hit ball to left field. Dropped right in front of Carrillo. So a 2 for 2 day for Hamovitz, the second baseman. Also has had a great day defensively. Pitch called a strike and 0-2 the count. He's had a couple of nice diving plays at second base today. And now an 0-2 count.
It's going to be Brent Jocks who's warming up in the Oaks pen, getting hot.
Wexberg looks back towards second. The pitch in. Hamovitz swings and misses at a ball in the dirt. Wexberg got him to chase. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and 2 outs in the inning for Wexberg.
And that is a really strong bounce back from Lucian Wexberg. After letting back-to-back 5-pitch walks, you go right back into the zone to Gavin Hamovitz, someone who's already pieced you up twice today with 2 hits and 3 consecutive strikes in order to get him down and put 2 outs in the inning.
Third strikeout of the day for Wexberg. The first one where a batter swung and missed at the third pitch. And now Austin Krizik. First pitch to him, bounces away, 1-0 the count. Krizik today, he flew out in the third, did reach first base in the first on a fielder's choice play where Hamovitz was out at second. That was on the third pitch to him. And now 1-0 the count. 2 runners on, 2 outs. 1 at first, 1 at second. Wexberg looks back towards second after he steps off the mound. In there safely is Freeman. 2 walks in the inning, 1 to Freeman, 1 to Owen. And they're going to call a balk as Krizik's hit by a pitch after the balk is called. He slams the bat to the ground. He's upset.
He's not going to get awarded first base as... Or is he going to get awarded first base? The home plate umpire just pointed to first base. I don't think that the second base umpire, he screamed balk. That has to do something to Lucian Wexberg as he's in the middle of his delivery. But they're going to award first base to Austin Krizik, and I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure why either.
If the second base umpire yells balk, then the play's over. That's time is called after balk is called.
Wow. Okay. So Krizik goes to first on a hit by pitch, despite the pitch being thrown after the balk was called. So I guess the balk doesn't mean anything anyways because Krizik's hit by a pitch. That moves Freeman to third, Owen to second, Krizik to first. The bases are juiced. 2 outs.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Once a balk is called and there is time on the play, if there's a balk, the play stops. I don't know why that runner was awarded first base.
I don't know either, but the umpires, they have the call on the field, and they called it that. First pitch to Emilio Rosas. Called the strike, got the off-speed to fall in the zone for Wexberg. We've seen him attack with that first pitch breaking ball. Got it to fall again in the zone. 0-1 the count. Rosas had a single in the first that had an RBI to his name, but a ground in his last at bat. This time he skies it in the air, shallow center field. Call coming in, makes the catch, and 3 runners are stranded. No runs come in. Another 0 on the board for Lucian Wexberg, and we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. We're halfway through. The Riptide, they lead 3-1. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano, second half of this game on its way here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Riptide, they're leading 3-1. Hunter Call, Daniel Cabral, and Austin Carrillo due up for the Oaks. Call swings at the first pitch to him, grounds it to the third baseman, Rosas. The throw across the diamond. Call made it close, but he wasn't there in time, and 1 out on 1 pitch from Roby.
And that's just a really good first batter from Roby. He got called to roll over on a pitch that was on the outside third of the plate. And then Emilio Rosas at third base, he's been great all day. He's been able to pick balls, throw more to first, and that one is one of the more routine plays that you're going to get as the third baseman.
It's a tough day for Hunter Call. He lined into a double play in his first time up and now a ground out, so an 0 for 2 day for Call. First pitch to Daniel Cabral, called a strike, 0-1 the count. Cabral up for the first time today. He came in the third inning after JT Naviak ended the second with a ground out. Pitch misses high, 1-1 the count. Cabral came in after Naviak's ground out. Naviak was shaken up on the ground out. Looked like his hurt arm was really killing him. And so Cabral came in defensively and up for the first time offensively. Jammed him inside was Roby, and now the count's 1-2 to Cabral.
It looked a little bit to me, and I don't have the greatest vantage point, but it looked like there was a possibility of catcher's interference on that play. I heard 2 sounds, but that could have been a misnomer.
Pitch misses. That was a close pitch.
Yeah, it looked like it was right down the
It
middle.
looked like it was right down the middle, but...
So they give one back.
If
If it was catcher's interference, then Daniel Cabral got a call back.
2-2 the count. The pitch to Cabral. High and inside. Cabral leans back. It misses him, and now the count's full, 3-2. Cabral this season, he's batting .115. He only has 3 hits on the year and 26 at-bats. The payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Cabral sent down swinging, 2 outs in the inning on just 7 pitches from Roby. That right there was his second strikeout of the day. And now Austin Carrillo, the leadoff man, coming up.
Yeah, and Cabral, he shot out his front shoulder early, and it was a breaking ball that dove to the lone outside part of the place. He didn't give himself a chance. When you're going to open up that front shoulder on a 2-strike count, it's going to be a breaking ball low and away. You just don't have the ability to cover the plate. That's what Daniel Cabral did, and that's the reason why he went down swinging.
8th strikeout of the year for Daniel Cabral, the late addition to the Oaks roster. First pitch to Carrillo. He showed bunt, pulled it back. Pitch missed high, 1-0 the count. Cabrillo, he led off the first inning with the Oaks with a single. He came around to score, the only run of the day for the Conejo Oaks, but he did fly out in his last time up in the third. Shows bunt again, tries to bunt down the third base line. That one goes foul, and Carrillo's going to have to run all the way back past first base to the home plate for the 1-1 pitch.
And that was almost the perfect bunt from Austin Carrillo. He just went about a foot outside of the chalk. It was right down the third base line. It had good speed. It would have been a very difficult play for Emilio Rosas, one that he probably would have had to 8 at third base, but Carrillo just missed the line and just missed an infield single.
Carrillo yesterday, 1 for 5, but still swinging the bat really good on the year. A .289 batting average, one of the best on the team. The 1-1. Looked at by Carrillo and misses outside. 2-1 the count. Carrillo, the Cal Lutheran product. You can see the purple gloves he has on, the batting gloves that is. Facing off against the Texas State pitcher and Tony Roby. The 2-1. Looked at. Above the letters, the umpire says, and now 3-1 the count. A couple of close calls going the way of the Oaks in this inning.
Yeah, it did look like right there that pitch was very close. Carrillo looked at it, and it might be Carrillo's stature that gave him that strike. To Brendan Bobo, that's probably a strike. To Austin Carrillo, who's about 6 inches shorter in the box, it's a ball.
The 3-1 pitch. Called a strike. Carrillo thought maybe a strike. Carrillo did shake his head, says, okay, it's a strike. Full count now. Carrillo doesn't strike out very often. Did strike out yesterday, though. Only 8 strikeouts on the year in 27 games played. The payoff pitch. Carrillo's going to bounce it towards the left side. Diaz, the shortstop, comes in, throws across the diamond, gets the speedy Carrillo. A 1-2-3 inning for Tony Roby again here in the 5th. We head to the 6th inning, 3-1 the score. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. New pitcher on the mound for the Conejo Oaks. That's going to be number 26, Brent Jocks. He's set to face off against Mason Grace, Dwight Allen, and Davis Diaz, the 8, 9, and 1-hole hitters for the Riptide. As Jocks, the righty, facing off against the righty and Grace. First pitch, curveball right in the zone, 0-1 the count. Final stat line for Lucian Wexberg. Threw 61 pitches on the day. 79 pitches on the day, as well as throwing 5 innings.
He threw 84 pitches on the day. He had 23 pitches in the 5th inning to add to the 61-pitch 4th inning.
I had 18 pitches in the 5th, but okay. Hit by pitch to Grace, and now he's aboard. 25 batters that Wexberg faced, 3 strikeouts in the day, but he did walk 4 batters. 1 batter was hit by a pitch. That hit by a pitch was a controversial one. Krizik reached after a balk was thrown or called. The pitch was thrown by Wexberg after the balk. It hit Krizik. He was awarded first base. It loaded the bases, but the flyout by Emilio Rosas ended the inning. Wexberg got out of the jam. First pitch to Dwight Allen, inside, 1-0 the count. So the hit by pitch didn't cost Wexberg any runs. He gave up 3 runs in the day. Those all came in the first inning. 6 hits total. Those came in 2 innings, 2 in the 3rd and 4 in the 1st. 1-0 the count to Dwight Allen. The pitch in. It's outside, and now 2-0 the count.
And so I have an explanation on the hit by pitch in the 5th inning. I ran into Clay Rickerman when I was filling up my water in between innings, and he explained to me that essentially the team who got the hit by pitch, once a balk is called against the other team, they have the right to either decline or accept the balk depending on the outcome of the pitch. So if on that pitch Krizik would have hit a bases clearing double, then they would have declined the balk and would have counted. But if it would have just been a pitch that wasn't hit or would have been a ball, then they probably would have called a no pitch and awarded the balk to the team. So essentially, the Riptide had the option right there to decline the balk, and they did because the batter was hit by the pitch.
Well, there's the explanation. 3-0 pitch called for a strike to Dwight Allen. It's now 3-1 the count. Mason Grace at first after the hit by pitch. That one is a hit by pitch that is going to count just like the one that we saw to Krizik. So 3-1, nobody out, runner on first and Grace. The pitch in, it's away, and a 5-pitch walk to Dwight Allen after the hit by pitch to Grace. 2 batters aboard on the first 2 batters faced by Brent Jocks.
And that is not the start you want to the inning if you're Brent Jocks. Jocks coming in for Wexberg, who had a pretty solid final 4 innings. I mean, he didn't give up any runs. He was phenomenal through that stretch. Jocks has been great all season. He only has 8 walks on the year, but he has struggled a little bit with walks in his last few outings. He's walked at least 1 batter in each of the last 5 outings that he's had. So struggled a little bit with base on balls, and right here, the hit by pitch and the walk puts 2 runners on and no outs quickly in the 6th inning. He has to reel it in, especially after the top of the order is going to come up.
So Davis Diaz, the shortstop, he'll come up to face off against Jocks. And although Jocks, he's been struggling with a little bit of walks as of late, his ERA is still really good on the year. 1.86 ERA and a 1-1 record for the right-hander out of Cal State Los Angeles. First pitch to Diaz, called the strike. Durfee couldn't catch it. It went off of his glove. It popped away. He got it. No runners advanced, and 0-1 the count to Diaz, who today is 1 for 3. Had the double in the first to lead off the game. He was the first run of the day for the Riptide, but since then a strikeout looking and a ground out to the shortstop Cabral.
And we've seen it a few times over the last few games where the catchers just haven't been able to squeeze the ball when it's gone right into their mitt.
The 0-1 inside, and now the count's 1-1.
We just saw it with Durfee. We saw it yesterday with Anson Arrows, and we saw it against Santa Barbara with Caden Suji once as well.
It's true. Grace at second, Allen at first. 1-1 the count to Diaz. The pitch. Ball. And Jocks, he just hasn't been locating his pitches. He had a 5-pitch walk to Allen. So 4 balls to that one. Had a hit by pitch to Grace, and now he's behind 2-1 to Davis Diaz. Jocks pitched against the Riptide July 22nd. It was one of his worst performances of the year. Gave 4 hits and 2 earned runs. Also walked 1 in 10 batters he faced in 1 2/3 innings against the Riptide. The 2-1 inside, and now the count's 3-1 to Davis Diaz as he gets ahead.
And so Jocks, he hit the first batter, walked the second on 5 pitches, and now in danger of walking the third on 5 pitches as well. You cannot walk the bases loaded in this 6th inning in your first appearance. In this game that is so vitally crucial for the Oaks, it just cannot happen if you're Brent Jocks. You have to find a way to battle back from 3-1 against Davis Diaz.
The 3-1 pitch. And it's a walk. So Jocks, a hit by pitch and back-to-back walks, loads the bases for the Riptide, and already action happening in the Oaks bullpen. Tobias Plotkin, he's warming up, the big left-hander warming up. Jocks, he's getting a mound meeting with Durfee right now. And so far, 12 pitches and 3 batters have reached.
And the good thing for Brent Jocks right now is it's the coldest hitter for the Riptide coming up to the plate. Simmons is 0 for 3 on the day. He had that 0 for streak coming in to the day. And we're going to see Brent Jocks not only get a talking to from Brent Durfee, or from Brendan Durfee rather, but from the pitching coach, Scott Radinsky.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very crucial game. We've mentioned it so much. The Riptide, they're 1 game ahead of the Conejo Oaks in the standings. The Oaks, they're looking to win against the Riptide today. And if they win, they'll be in playoff position as of the end of today. If they lose, then they're eliminated overall.
If they win today, then the Riptide are going to need some help. If they lose today, they're completely eliminated.
It's true. Riptide looking to clinch. The Oaks, they're looking to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Make the trip up to Lincoln August 4th, 5th, and 6th. But a lot of work to do. We're here in the 6th, top of the 6th inning, that is. Bases loaded, nobody out. Terrence Simmons, the center fielder, at the plate. Jocks staring in to face off against the hitter. Like you said, he's been very cold. 0 for 3 day against the Blues July 27th, 0 for 3 day against the Foresters July 28th, and an 0 for 4 day yesterday against the Saints. 0 for 3 today, all ground outs. First pitch to him, runs away, 1-0 the count. And despite the 0 for whatever performance in the past 4 days, he's been hot against the Oaks. Against the Oaks, he's hit for a couple of home runs, one on July 21st and one on July 22nd, as well as homering July 16th. This one's lined up the middle. That's going to get down. Coming in to score now from third is Allen. Grace in there too, and now the score is 5-1.
And Jocks, before that pitch, he had thrown 11 of his first 13 pitches as balls. Tried to get back into the zone with a fastball that was center cut, and it allowed for Terrence Simmons not only to drive in 2 runs, but to get back off of his cold streak. There's nothing that feels better for a hitter than knowing that your pitcher is struggling throwing strikes. If you're going to get a pitch in the zone, it's going to be a fastball with a little bit of the RPMs taken off of it. And Simmons got one that he liked, was able to drive it right back up the middle, and that is the 4th consecutive base runner to start off Brent Jocks' day.
Still nobody out. Runners on first and second. First pitch to Colton Freeman. He skies it high in the air in foul territory. It's out of play, out of the stadium. 0-1 the count. Freeman today, he had an RBI single in the first. Since then, he had a ground out to the shortstop in the third and then a walk in the 5th, which he was left stranded at third. He was a part of the 3 runners that were stranded with the bases loaded. Now stands in with the runner at second and Davis Diaz, speed there in Diaz, and then Simmons, the center fielder who just had the 2 RBI single, he's at first. Infield shifted a little bit towards the left for the right-handed hitter in Freeman. The pitch in from Jocks, foul tipped, caught by Durfee, and now Freeman's behind 0-2. Jocks got him to foul tip a pitch, and he's ahead for the first time today.
And so if the Oaks have to use a few more pitchers, you presume that, well, a lot of Oaks are going to be hot. Everyone who didn't pitch yesterday is probably ready, but the one who I'd be keeping my eye on that isn't already warming up is Eric Ma.
Swing and a miss from Freeman, a 3-pitch strikeout for Brent Jocks. The first out in the inning is recorded, and now a little bit to work with for Jocks. There's a double play open at second and a double play open at third with 2 runners on.
And the reason I say Eric Ma is that he's gone 11 days without seeing a mound appearance. On July 20th, he pitched against the Foresters. That's the last time he has seen the hill, and this is going to be the last time that Jocks will probably see the hill in the regular season as he gets taken out and a pitching change is going to happen.
So we're going to step aside, take a break. Tobias Plotkin, he's going to come in the game. We'll be right back after he warms up. 1 out, 2 runners on for the Riptide. Stay tuned here in the 6th. Matt Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you here in the top of the 6th inning. The Riptide, they have 2 runners on, 1 at second, 1 at first. Davis Diaz, the shortstop, at second. Terrence Simmons, the center fielder, at first after his 2 RBI single. Brent Jocks, he struck out Colton Freeman, and then that was the end of his day. He faced 5 batters, pitched 1/3 of an inning, gave up 2 runs. He was responsible for both the runners on base. First pitch from Tobias Plotkin misses away to Clay Owen, 1-0 the count. Only 1 hit allowed for Jocks, but 2 runs came in on that RBI single from Simmons. Walked 2 batters and hit by a pitch was Mason Grace. He was the first batter Jocks had faced, so a not great day for Brent Jocks. The 1-0 from Plotkin bounces in. Great stop by Durfee, and now Owen is ahead 2-0.
And Plotkin's last performance was his worst of the season. He's not someone who walks many batters. He's now down 2-0 to Owen. He has 5 walks on the season. 2 of them came in his last performance against the Arroyo Seco Saints. In 2 2/3 innings in that game, he gave up 4 earned runs.
2-0 the count to the first baseman Clay Owen, who's reached base safely in all 3 times he's come to the plate. Swings and fouls off the 2-0, so now the count's 2-1. Walked in the 1st and 5th inning. Came around to score for the 3rd run of the day in the 1st. Had a single in the 3rd sandwiched in between those walks, and now ahead in a hitter's count, 2-1. Daniel Cabral, the shortstop, he's holding in the runner in Davis Diaz. Oaks double play depth. Only 1 out in the inning. Looking to turn 2 and get out of here. Pitch from Plotkin called for a strike. It was a fastball on the high outside part of the plate in the zone. count even 2-2.
I was talking with Tobias Plotkin in the pregame, and what Plotkin brings to the table is an entire pitch arsenal, and he can really rely on that changeup. And he credits his coach at Glendale Community College for really unlocking his changeup.
Swing and a miss from Clay Owen. Back-to-back strikeouts from the Riptide with 2 runners on. Plotkin, his first strikeout of the day on 5 pitches to Clay Owen. He battled back 3 straight strikes after starting ahead 2-0 was Owen. And now 2 outs. The Oaks, they have a little bit of breathing room to work with, but still have to get that final out.
And the story that Plotkin told me is that one game his changeup wasn't working, and a team, they were just getting a lot of hits off of that changeup. And so his coach, he gave him some tough love. He asked Tobias Plotkin, do you want to quit? And Tobias said no. And the coach said, you need to develop a changeup.
This one's lined to right field. Sandoval makes the play. Hamovitz is retired for the 2nd straight time. And we head to the bottom of this inning. The Riptide, they add 2 on the RBI single from Terrence Simmons. We head to the bottom of the 6th. 5-1 the score. The Riptide, they lead. Stay tuned on the Conejo Oaks live stream. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Anson Arrows, he's coming up. He's followed by Brendan Bobo and Brendan Durfee. So those are the 3 hitters, the 2, 3, and 4-hole hitters for the Oaks. They're facing off still against Tony Roby here in the 6th. First pitch from Roby to Arrows. Swing and a miss by Arrows. Didn't get contact, but the fall went right behind the catcher Grace. 0-1 the count. Arrows today has 2 singles, both on nice line drives, 1 to left center field and 1 to right field. So a 2-for-2 day for the DH and Anson Arrows. First time DHing all season. Second pitch to him, clipped him on the elbow, and he's heading to first on a hit by pitch.
And so now the home plate umpire, he's talking to the Riptide side of things. And he might be explaining the hit by pitch.
The umpire explains the rules. The Orange County manager didn't like it. Nevertheless, Arrows at first, nobody out here in the inning. Brendan Bobo at the plate. 5-1 the score. The Riptide, they lead. They took their lead of 3-1 and extended it to 5-1 after a 2-run RBI single by Terrence Simmons in the top of the 6th. Now we're here, a 4-run lead for the Riptide in a crucial game in the CCL standings. First pitch to Brendan Bobo, it clips him. He's hit on his elbow, and heading to second is Arrows. Heading to first is Bobo, and things are getting a little chippy. The Oaks, they're screaming from their dugout.
I'm not sure if it's getting chippy. I think the Oaks are just fired up. They know that they need big innings and big innings quick. They have 4 more innings on offense to get back these 4 runs. If the Oaks lose today, then they are not headed to Lincoln for the playoffs. They know that they need to capitalize, especially when they get leadoff base runners. And with back-to-back hit by pitches, they know that this needs to be a big inning for them.
It's now Brendan Durfee at the plate, the catcher. Arrows at second, Bobo at first. And Roby on the mound. Durfee swung at the first 2 pitches to him, one in the first one in the first as pitch misses to him here, 1-0 the count. One in the first and then one in the third. Both of them hard hit balls to the right side of the field. The one in the first got through for an RBI single. That brought home Austin Carrillo. In the third, he grounded out to Gavin Hamovitz, who dove and made a nice diving play. This time he chops one up the middle, not fielded by Diaz. It gets through the outfield. Heading to third is Bobo. Heading to home is Arrows. The Oaks, they get a run back. It's 5-2.
And this has to be the start of a big inning. Brendan Durfee, he now has both of the RBI for the Oaks today, and now there's still no one out with runners on the corners in the 6th.
So a great start to this inning for the Oaks. Back-to-back hit by pitches, then Brendan Durfee, an RBI single up the middle. Runners at the corners, like you said, and Grant Smith, the 5-hole hitter, coming up to the plate to face off against Roby for the 3rd time today. Although Smith, he's been unsuccessful. A strikeout on the 1st and a ground out in the 4th as he's been dealing with an arm injury. He now hits a ball to left center field. That's going to drop down for a single. Coming in to score is Bobo. 5-3 the score.
And so Grant Smith, when you need a big hit, rely on Grant Smith. He's been big for the Oaks all season long. He comes up with a big hit right there. It brings the go-ahead run to the plate.
So through the first 4 batters here in the 6th, 6 pitches have been thrown by Roby and 2 runs have come in. An RBI single by Brendan Durfee and an RBI single by Grant Smith on back-to-back pitches. Durfee over to second, Smith to first, and now Greg Melhoff to the plate, who's 0 for 2 today. Infield shifted slightly to the right side for the left-handed hitter in Melhoff. He's going to show bunt. He tries to bunt, pops it up in foul territory, 0-1 the count.
And the Oaks do this a lot, where they get runners in scoring position or a leadoff runner on, and then they try to square a bunt. And I'm not sure if it's worked once for the Oaks this entire season.
So Melhoff, he flew out in the first, grounded out in the 4th, in a big-time spot here. Nobody out, 2 runners on. Melhoff shows bunt again. It misses inside. It gets past the catcher. Heading to third is Durfee. Heading to second is Smith. And now 2 runners in scoring position, including the tying run at second.
And so right there, Melhoff able to identify that the pitch was going to run inside. He pulled it back, and he was able to not get a strike called on him, also not try to put wood on a ball that was getting past the catcher. It's hard if you're a catcher in Grays to try to block a ball that's running inside when you see a bat in front of you. It sort of halts your view. It obstructs your vision to the ball that's coming towards you. Gave him just a little bit of a late reaction. He couldn't squeeze the ball, and it allowed for the tying run to get into scoring position.
And this has been the thing the Oaks have struggled the most all year. 2 runners in scoring position, nobody out, situational hitting for the Oaks. Greg Melhoff, a 1-1 count, looking for his first hit of the day. The pitch from Roby, off speed, misses away, and now 2-1 the count to Melhoff, the third baseman.
If you're Greg Melhoff right now, it has to just be a well-executed, successful at-bat. On the season, he has just 4 walks compared to 19 strikeouts and a .224 on-base percentage. Just have a successful at-bat, drive and a run.
The 2-1 inside, brushed back Melhoff, and now a hitter's count to the lefty, 3-1.
3 RBI on the season for Greg Melhoff. He could jump it to 5 with the 2 biggest RBIs of the year that are on base for the Oaks right now.
Corners of the infield are playing in. Rosas at third, and the first baseman in Owen. The 3-1, looked at by Melhoff, it's away, and now the Oaks, they have the bases loaded. Nobody out after the 5-pitch walk to Greg Melhoff, and Raul Sandoval up at the plate for the biggest at-bat of the season.
It's going to prompt a mound visit.
And it looks like a pitching change is going to happen for the Riptide. So we're going to step aside, take a break, find out who the new pitcher is. But the Oaks, they have the bases loaded, nobody out, down by 2 here in the 6th. Stay tuned on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. The new pitcher on the mound is going to be Hayden Murda, number 29, the right-hander. He's set to face off against Raul Sandoval. The bases are loaded here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Oaks, they're trailing by 2 to the Riptide. They're 1 game out of the playoffs. The Riptide, they're ahead of them. It's a huge game in the CCL standings and a big-time at bat for Raul Sandoval. First pitch from Murda misses outside. It was a fastball that Sandoval looked at. 1-0 the count. Sandoval 0 for 1 today, had a 7-pitch at bat in the 4th that ended in a strikeout. Prior to that, he had a full count in the 2nd, a 6-pitch walk, and he reached base safely then. Sandoval hits one up the middle. Coming in is Diaz. He bobbles it, sliding in safely is Melhoff at 2nd. Durfee comes in to score. It's a 1-run game. All the runners advance. Bases loaded, still nobody out.
And that was just a poor play by Davis Diaz. He was trying to do way too much. He had the ball going across to the first base side of things. He was past the second base bag. He tried to flip it back to Gavin Hamovitz. He couldn't do it, and instead of getting the easy out at first, he ended up just throwing it into no man's land. Hamovitz had no chance to try to field that ball, and everyone's safe.
First pitch to Hunter Call, swing and a miss. 0-1 the count. Believe the scoreboard is wrong. Yes, they now correct it. They had 5-5 on the scoreboard. Only 3 runs have come in so far. So 5-4 the score. The Oaks, they're still trailing by 1. 0-1 the count to Hunter Call. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Call skies one coming up towards us. And no, it's actually in play. Dropped by the catcher, Grace. That one was right near the fence right in front of us, or screen right in front of us, that is. And now Call gets lucky as Grace can't field the fly out. 0-2 the count.
And that would have been a big catch by Mason Grace that he couldn't corral. It looked like it was coming beyond the net into the booth towards us, and it just kept tailing back into play, and Mason Grace overran it. He was right up against the backstop, and it dropped just a little bit further into the field of play. It went off the tip of his webbing, and he couldn't catch it, giving the Oaks a little extra life.
The 0-2 to Call. Looked at, misses outside. 1-2 the count. I got a little excited. I thought that one was coming towards us. That was one of the closest ones that's come towards the booth here, but was in the field of play. 1-2 the count now to Hunter Call, who today had a ground out in his last time up. That was last inning in the 5th, and prior to that, he lined into a double play. This one misses from Murda, and now the count's even 2-2 to Hunter Call, who started down 0-2.
It hasn't been the best week for Hunter Call. He ended off last week with a looking strikeout to end the game against Santa Barbara. He had a looking strikeout to end the game against the Blues yesterday. He also had a strikeout in extra innings against Santa Barbara.
Curveball misses below the knees, and Call looked at it. It's a ball, and now the count is full. 1-run game, 5-4 the score. The Riptide, they lead. Full count, nobody out, bases loaded. Smith at third, Melhoff at second, and at first, Raul Sandoval. The payoff pitch to Hunter Call. Misses! The Oaks, they tie it on a walk by Hunter Call. Bases still loaded, nobody out.
And so this is the inning where the Oaks really need to blow it open. They've already scored 4, but they still have the bases loaded with no one down. Every run is going to be crucial for tomorrow's game if the Oaks do end up pulling off the win here. And they still don't have the advantage yet. It's still a tie game. It's still 5-5. The runners on base still need to come in to score. Daniel Cabral, this is a huge at-bat for him, and he has to come up clutch.
First pitch to Cabral, misses away from Murda, 1-0 the count. So Melhoff now at third, Sandoval at second, Call to first after the walk. We're tied 5-5, 4 runs in the inning. And man, what a game, and a crucial game for playoff implications. Cabral, a little in front of that one, got the end of the bat on it, fouls it away, 1-1.
And he did this in his last at-bat, too. He's flaring out that front shoulder. He's not staying down on the pitches on the outside part of the plate. When it's a slow pitch and a breaking ball, where you start your motion early and your shoulder flares out, it's hard to cover that outside part of the plate.
The 1-1 to Cabral. Fouls it away again. Now 1-2. Cabral's behind. Cabral, his only time up, he struck out swinging. That was in the 5th. It was a defensive reinforcement that came in for JT Naviak after he was injured after grounding out in the 2nd. So no for 1 day for Cabral. The pitch. Cabral slaps it towards right field, going over is Freeman. He makes the catch, tagging is Melhoff. The throw home, going to be cut off by Owen. Melhoff safely in. The Oaks, they take the lead. It's 6-5.
And I'm not sure why that ball was cut off by Clay Owen. It was going to be a tight play at the plate, but Owen ended up cutting it off, allowed Melhoff to score without a throw, and it gave the Oaks the lead. Daniel Cabral does his job with the sacrifice fly to put runners on the corners and give the Oaks the advantage. And I think that's a poor defensive decision by Clay Owen at first.
Raul Sandoval, like you mentioned, tagged and went to third, so now runners at the corners. Hunter Call, he's at first. Potentially going to see him try to head for second. Austin Carrillo up, the 9th hitter of the inning for the Oaks. 5 runs have come in as they take the lead 6-5. Carrillo swings at the first pitch to him. He fouls it away. 0-1 the count. Carrillo today had a single in the first, but since then, a fly out in the 3rd and a ground out in the 5th. Looking to get another hit here. All the runs crucial in this game. The pitch from Murda misses, and now the count's even 1-1. This is only Murda's 3rd time out this season with the Riptide. His last time out, he got the decision. It was a loss. He pitched 1 1/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits. Did have 3 strikeouts, though, as Carrillo looks at a pitch inside, and now he's ahead 2-1. The game prior to that, he pitched 2 scoreless, hitless innings against the Blues. Faced 7 batters after he walked 1, but did strike out 3. So 6 strikeouts and 3 1/3 inning pitch for Murda on the season. But he walked Hunter Call and a sac fly to Daniel Cabral. The 2-1 to Carrillo. Inside, Carrillo holds up. He's disciplined at the plate. And now 3-1 to count to Carrillo, a hitter's count.
And the most disciplined batter that the Oaks have this year After Zach Gregory departed, it's all on Austin Carrillo. He takes the mantle as the most disciplined, and we've seen him before take a walk with 2 runners on.
Call goes. Carrillo lines it towards right field. Freeman comes in, makes the play. He throws it to first, trying to double up Call. He's in there safely. Sandoval comes in. The Oaks, they extend the lead at 6-5.
And that was incredibly dangerous. Hunter Call, he was running. He was trying to steal second base. The line drive to right field. Call able to book it back. Head first slide right in before the throw was into Clay Owen. And another sacrifice fly to right field. Colton Freeman thought he was out of the inning. But Hunter Call able to stop in his tracks and get back where the Oaks take a 2-run lead.
And Freeman, that was an awkward throw. He threw it sidearm from right field to first base. Call barely got in there safely, but safely is all that matters. 7-5 the score, 6-run inning for the Oaks so far. And now Anson Arrows at the dish. Runner on first and Hunter Call. 2 outs now after back-to-back sac flies by Cabral and Carrillo. Call goes at the first pitch. It's called to strike. Call in there well before the throw from Grace. 0-1 the count, though.
So the Oaks have officially batted around in this inning.
Yes. Anson Arrows led off the inning with a hit by pitch on the second pitch to him. He had an 0-1 count before getting his elbow guard clipped by Tony Roby. The next batter, Brendan Bobo, who's on deck right now, he was hit by a pitch on the following pitch that put 2 runners on. And then Durfee came around and hit a single up the middle that scored Anson Arrows. Arrows almost got clipped again. For the second time this inning, it missed him inside, and the count's even 1-1.
Yeah, and Arrows, he had to turn to avoid getting hit by that pitch. If he stays, that was probably a similar pitch that hit him on the elbow the first time. If he stays in his batter's stance, it probably clips him again.
Runner in scoring position and Hunter Call. The 1-1 pitch looked at above the letters for Arrows, and now 2-1 the count as the DH gets ahead. Arrows has reached base safely all 3 times today. Prior to being hit by pitch in this inning, he had a single in the first and a single in the third. He's been swinging the bat hot as of late. Looking to drive in another run here. 7-5 the score. The Oaks, they're leading. The pitch misses away to Arrows, and now another hitter's count for the Oaks. A 3-1 count to Arrows, back-to-back batters with that same 3-1 count. The 3-1 pitch. Almost hit him again. It missed inside. A walk to Anson Arrows on 5 pitches. And now Brendan Bobo coming up to the plate. 2 runners on still, but 2 outs.
And so runners in scoring position for Brendan Bobo. You do not want to be the Orange County Riptide right now. Brendan Bobo, he has 30 runs batted in on the season.
So Bobo coming up to the plate. Was hit by a pitch earlier in this inning, was the second run to come in. 6 runs have scored, but now has a runner in scoring position in Hunter Call and a runner at first in Anson Arrows. First pitch to Bobo, called to strike. It's a close one. Consistently throughout the day, that one's been called to ball, but it's called to strike to Brendan Bobo, 0-1. Bobo had a single in the third, but he was thrown out after singling. Almost got clipped for the second time in this inning. Count even 1-1 as the pitch was inside.
And so Brendan Bobo, he's only behind Mason Grotto in the CCL South in terms of runs batted in. He's tied with Ryan Cermak.
Call dancing at second, and that catches the eye of Murda. He looked back towards second. Call went back, and now we're waiting the 1-1 pitch. 2 outs in the inning. Brendan Bobo at the plate. 7-5 the score. The Oaks, they're leading. The pitch to Bobo. Swing and a miss. It was a big hack. Whiffed on it. 1-2. The Oaks, they haven't come from behind many times this season. They did it against the Blues in 1, and they did it against the Barons in 1. Now in this inning, they were trailing 5-1 entering, and they've scored 6 runs to make it 7-5. The 1-2 pitch. Golfed at the dirt. Swing and a miss for Bobo. A strikeout, but the throw is over the head of the first baseman, Owen. Bowen's Bobo's heading to second. Coming in to score is Cole. Arrows is being waved. He's coming in. He's safe. Bobo to third. The inning continues. 9-5.
And that was just an errant throw on the part of Mason Grace. It came out of his hand in a lollipop, and no one was able to catch that ball. Not Clay Owen. You would have had to be the tallest man in the world, and it still might have gone over your head.
Just hasn't been the Riptide's inning. The inning continues. Durfee coming up to the plate with Bobo at third. This is the second time in the past 3 games that Brendan Bobo has struck out and has reached base safely and gotten an RBI because of the drop third strike. He did it against the Foresters and now doing it again today against the Riptide.
It's the first 2 RBI drop third strike I think I've ever seen.
First pitch to Durfee, check swing. He did go, I believe, and yes, they do call him that he did go, and 0-1 the count to Durfee. Wow, what an inning. 8 runs in the inning, 9-5 the score. Only 1 hit or 2 hits in the inning, one by Brendan Durfee, who's at the plate. Called a strike, 0-2. Durfee had an RBI single for the first run driven in. That was Anson Arrows earlier in this inning. It was followed by Grant Smith, who singled and had an RBI. But since then, no hits for the Oaks. Swing and a miss from Durfee, a 3-pitch strikeout to end the inning. But not before the Oaks can take the lead. 9-5, an 8-run 6 on 2 hits. We head to the 7th, a whole new ball game. You are listening to the Conejo Oaks on the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Nate Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you here in the top of the 7th. A new game after a disastrous inning for the Riptide. 9-5 the score. Ryan, take over play-by-play for the final 3 innings.
So the Oaks, they're now in front. Tobias Plotkin back on the hill, his 2nd inning of work. First pitch, strike to Austin Krizik. And so, as Mariah Aguirre pointed out in the chat, 2 performances ago was the performance against the Arroyo Seco Saints for Tobias Plotkin. He quickly gets 0-2 ahead to Austin Krizik. He did pitch against the Academy Barons. The stats for that game are not entered in the CCL website because of the weird nature and it only being 8 innings, as the 0-2 fought off, fouled off, and staying alive is Krizik. So he did pitch against the Academy Barons in that 16-4 victory for the Oaks. Just was not credited in terms of the stat sheet. The 0-2, Plotkin misses high and away. So the count 1-2 to Austin Krizik, who's reached base twice today, still searching for his first hit. A fielder's choice in the first inning drove in a run. And then in the 5th, he reached on a hit by pitch. Plotkin misses low, off speed. The count 2-2. That was that changeup that I was talking about in the bottom of the 6th inning. Sandwiched in between those two on-base appearances was a flyout for Krizik as foul tip into the glove of Brendan Durfee, the second strikeout on the day for Tobias Plotkin.
Yeah, and this right now is a big moment for Plotkin. He gets the strikeout to Owen, and then he got a line out by Gavin Hamovitz, and now here in the 7th inning has a little bit of cushion to work with. 4 runs after the 8-run inning for the Oaks in the 6th, and great way to come out, get a strikeout, got ahead in that count, and got a strikeout to his name, his second of the day.
First pitch, a check swing, and he went all the way around, so I called strike on Emilio Rosas. He bit on a pitch that was in the dirt. The count 0-1 to Rosas. 1 for 3 days so far today for Rosas, an RBI single with 2 outs in the first, but has gotten out twice since then, a ground out to Daniel Cabral and a fly out to Raul Sandoval. Slider from Plotkin runs inside. The count 1-1. Tobias Plotkin, he has been fantastic all season long for the Oaks. That one performance against Arroyo Seco, inflating his ERA. Missed low and inside, the count 2-1. Before that appearance against Arroyo Seco, he had an ERA sub-4. Now he has an ERA of 5.2 with the exclusion of that academy performance because that academy performance not factored into his earned run average. The 2-1 bounced on home plate and rolled foul, so the count is 2-2. Plotkin quickly gets 2 strikes once again on the second batter. He struck out Krizik on 5 pitches. Now about to see the 5th pitch to Emilio Rosas.
And Plotkin, he's had back-to-back 2-2 counts, like you said, and right here, try to get the strikeout. He's a high strikeout pitcher, had 24 strikeouts in 19 innings coming into the game, already 2 strikeouts on the day, has a chance for another one here.
2 strikes, and now 3 balls as the 2-2 pitch misses high. Durfee tried to frame it at the top of the zone, but could not bring it down enough. The count has run full. 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. The payoff pitch, swinging a line drive into center field. Call going back underneath it, makes the play. And 2 outs in the inning for the Oaks. A full count to Emilio Rosas ends in a fly out to Hunter Call.
Yeah, back-to-back 6-pitch at-bats for the Riptide, and 2 outs. Plotkin, he's got to be happy. His stuff has been working a little bit here today, and right after the Oaks, they took the lead and scored 8 runs to get back-to-back outs to start this inning in the 7th has got to be a good feeling. You got to think the momentum has shifted.
First pitch to Mason Grace. In there for a strike. 0-1 the count. The Oaks 7 outs away from controlling their destiny in terms of the playoff picture. The 0-1 off-speed pitch drops into the zone. Grace thought about it. Didn't quite check his swing, but he started to go. It didn't matter as the strike was called on the pitch. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Plotkin catches the inside corner. The second strikeout of the inning. The third of the day for Plotkin. A 1-2-3 shutdown inning from Tobias Plotkin. And the Oaks come back to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. They hold a 4-run lead when we come back on the Oaks live stream. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Oaks in a much different spot than when they came to the plate in the last inning. They were down 5-1 in the bottom of the 6th. An 8-run 6th inning ended up putting them up 9-5. Grant Smith now coming to the plate, facing off against a new pitcher, Andrew Pogue. So Tony Roby, a disastrous inning for him. He only had 1 earned for the first 5 innings. Now he's on the hook for the loss after the runs in that inning. A lot of them were credited to him. First pitch from Pogue gets away, goes to the backstop. The count 1-0 to Grant Smith. Smith so far today, 1 for 3, struck out in the first, and then an RBI single in the last inning where he came all the way around to score. The 1-0 lined into right field, but right at Terrence Simmons. He makes the play, and Grant Smith, hard contact, but retired as it went right to Terrence Simmons. He didn't even have to move. Or, excuse me, Colton Freeman. Terrence Simmons is in center field. Colton Freeman is in right field. My apologies.
And Freeman, he's had a lot of action there in right field. He's had a lot of balls hit towards his way. He had back-to-back sac flies, one from Cabral and one from Correa last inning go his way. And right there, a flyout by Grant Smith. Didn't have to move much, and already 1 out on 2 pitches from Andrew Pogue. A great start for him.
Greg Melhoff watches the first pitch bounce in, the count 1-0. Andrew Pogue on the season, he has a .337 earned run average, 33 strikeouts, and 29 in the 3rd innings pitched. He is the most consistent reliever that you will see for the Orange County Riptide. He has had 13 appearances this season as Melhoff fouls off the 1-0 pitch to make it 1-1. He has 1 loss on the season. That was his worst performance of the year, and it came against the Conejo Oaks. On July 22nd, Andrew Pogue pitched 4 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, part of a 6-run outing. 6 hits as well that he gave up in a 7-8 loss for Orange County. And the 1-1 misses outside, 2-1.
And Pogue came in as the starter in that game for the Riptide. He hadn't started many games for them all season. He was normally a reliever like we see him here today, and he really started that game and just couldn't really find his stuff early on.
The 2-1, sky to right field. Freeman trekking towards the line and makes the play above his head. Melhoff gave it a ride. It just could not hang up for long enough for the Cal Lutheran wind to help it. It was struck well. We've seen balls that have been struck worse get out of this ballpark, but the launch angle not quite where it needed to be to get out.
And I just feel bad for Greg Melhoff sometimes. I mean, his hit list today, he did walk and come around to score last inning, but there's another ball that he barrels up that's caught in the outfield, and he's had that consistently throughout the year. He's had some hard-hit balls that just really haven't fell his way, and there's another one right there.
Raul Sandoval watches the first pitch ball, misses low and away. The count 1-0. And this might have been one of the best days for Raul Sandoval this entire season. He's seen pitches well. He's put balls in play when he's needed to, as the 1-0 swung on and missed, the count 1-1. He got deep in 2 counts, both in the 2nd inning, working a full count walk, and in the 4th inning, he worked a full count fought on 7 pitches, ended up going down on strikes, but extended the pitch count of Tony Roby, and then saw a pitch he liked in the 6th inning, was able to get one right back up the middle where Diaz wasn't able to corral it, and it was an error that allowed for him to reach first base and a run to come in to score. The 1-1 pitch missed outside. The count is 2-1 now to Raul Sandoval. It just seems like he's doing a much better job of seeing pitches. Skied into center field. Going back is Simmons at the track. Looking up. Raul Sandoval. A home run. Sandoval, his first shot of the season. And this game is 10-5. He got all of that one and sent it into the parking lot.
And, man, that's got to feel great for Raul right there. And, just dead center right to the parking lot, like you said. That's got to be feeling great. And like you said, he's been seeing the ball well all day. And, he denies that he has pop on his bat. But, man, that was a moonshot to center.
I don't think you can deny it after that. I don't think it's possible. That one was crushed. And if you You can't see it on the stream, but there is a foray of children who are sprinting out to center field to try to find the ball. Hunter Call, first pitch swinging, pops it up behind the screen. It's out of play and hits the covering on the awning above us. The count 0-1.
Had my glove ready and everything.
Yeah, I don't think you were getting to that one.
There wasn't this awning.
If there wasn't the awning, you could have jumped off of the roof. It was significantly onto the Orange County Riptide side of things. No balls, one strike to Hunter Call. He goes down 0-2. Call today grounded into a double play in the second. Was first pitch swinging in the fifth, grounded out there as well. And then worked a full count walk with the bases loaded in the last inning to score a runner. That was Grant Smith. The 0-2 lined past the shortstop Diaz into left field, and Hunter Call gets his first hit of the day.
And back-to-back hard hit balls for the Oaks. That one Call just drove to left field, got on for a single today, and man, 2 outs. They're feeling good right now, the Oaks are.
Daniel Cabral, the 9-hole hitter, now comes up. He's in search of his first hit today. He had an RBI in the last inning. That's not new. Almost every Oak had an RBI in the last inning. Cabral watches a pitch on the outside part of the plate for a strike, the count 0-1. So let's count the Oaks that had RBIs in the last inning. First RBI was for Brendan Durfee. Then Grant Smith drove in a run. Greg Melhoff, unfortunately, did not get an RBI. He just walked the bases loaded as Cabral swings and skies went out of play. Raul Sandoval, he drove in a run as Hunter Call, he was running on the pitch. He now has to go back after the foul ball. Gavin Hamovitz, his teammate at SBCC, gives him a pat on the butt, tells him, nah, you're going back to first. You're not stealing second. So Raul Sandoval drove in a run. Hunter Call got a bases-loaded walk. Daniel Cabral skied out to right field. That was a sacrifice fly that drove in a run. Austin Carrillo, the exact same result, actually. Sacrifice fly to right field as the 0-2 bouncing ball, third base. It gets through the hole. Call, he was running on the pitch. He goes first to third. Runners on the corners with 2 down.
And the dugout right now, they're going insane. Cabral a single after Call a single after the home run by Sandoval, and the 2-out rally continues. Another ball hit to left field. It was back-to-back singles by Call and Cabral with the balls going to left field, and it was a hit-and-run situation. Because of the hit-and-run and because the ball was hit right between the shortstop and third baseman, that allowed Hunter Call to go from first to third, and because of that, you have the runners at the corners, and, you know, why not continue this inning after an 8-run inning in the last inning?
And to round out the RBI count in last inning, Brendan Bowo, he had 2 on the drop third strike. Austin Carrillo, first pitch, breaking ball, runs inside, the count 1-0. So the Oaks, after the first 2 batters flew out to Colton Freeman, Raul Sandoval, a solo shot home run. Hunter Call, he singled. Daniel Cabral singled. That leaves runners on the corners with 2 outs in the inning. Austin Carrillo, he has a 1-for-3 day thus far. Grounds one to Hamovitz. Gavin throws it over to first, so the inning is over. But not after the Oaks. They score 1 on the solo shot from Raul Sandoval. They leave 2 runners stranded as well. We head to the top of the 8th inning. The Oaks have blown this game open. You're listening to the Oaks live stream on YouTube. Top of the 8th inning, Tobias Plotkin still on the hill. He's pitched 1 2/3 innings thus far. Now it's face off against 9-1-2. Dwight Allen leading things off. Swung over the first pitch. The count 0-1. And you can hear, I believe it's Cody Adcock from the dugout. He just yelled at Tobias Plotkin that pitch was gross. He's right. No balls, 1 strike. Dwight Allen watches a pitch, miss low. The count 1-1. So Plotkin, he's already struck out 3 batters of the first 5 that he's faced. It's one of the better performances on the year for Tobias Plotkin, and he's had many of them. Breaking ball misses high and away, just slips out of the hand of Tobias Plotkin, doesn't follow through on it. Hanging breaking ball that missed up and away. You'd rather have a hanger miss the zone and just be called a ball than be crushed. Speaking of crushed, how about that Raul Sandoval home run last inning? The 2-1 misses low and inside. The count 3-1.
Yeah, that was crushed right to center field, and you know, why not? Sandoval, he needed that one, and he's been seeing the ball really great today, and man, what a special moment for him, and to blow the game open. I mean, 10-5 right now.
3-1 pitch, catches the inside part of the zone. Plotkin stays alive. The count run full. Plotkin's seen 1 full count already today. That was to Emilio Rosas. He got him to fly out to Hunter Call in center field. So maybe right field's a good look for Raul Sandoval. If he's going to play right, has a little less defensive responsibility, then give him a big-time offer as Plotkin gets the swinging 3rd strike, but it gets behind Brendan Durfee. So the 4th strikeout of the day results in a base runner as Durfee couldn't squeeze it, and it gets behind him.
And that's unfortunate. I mean, it really is. But we saw one of those go in the favor of the Oaks during the 8-run 6th inning for Brendan Bobo, where he struck out and then 2 runs came in to score. Bobo ended up at 3rd. That one, luckily, Allen didn't have to go to 3rd. He just goes to 1st, and Durfee just couldn't squeeze it. But it was a nice pitch from Plotkin. He's dealing. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's just getting outs, and that's all that matters. He didn't get out there, but he's getting swings and misses, and that just means that his stuff is working.
Plotkin checks the runner, goes to the dish. First pitch in there for a strike to Davis Diaz. The count is 0-1. Davis Diaz so far today, 1 for 3, doubled in the first, came around to score. Struck out looking on 3 consecutive pitches in the second. Grounded out to Daniel Cabral in the 4th. And then in the 6th inning, he walked on 5 pitches. That was part of a 4 consecutive base runner streak against Brent Jacques. Swing and a miss. The count 0-2 quickly to Davis Diaz. He's already struck out today, as we mentioned. At first base, it's Dwight Allen. Allen so far this season, he has 6 stolen bases. He's the leading bag swiper on the season, at least in conference play, for the OC Riptide. And he's rung up. Davis Diaz goes down looking. The pitch catches the corner, high and inside. Orange County does not like it.
And the Oaks fans, they're the loudest I've heard them here at Sparky Anderson all season after that strikeout. They're getting loud. Plotkin, back-to-back strikeouts. Only 1 counts as an out, though, but a 3-pitch strikeout looking to Diaz for the 2nd time today. It's just been a tough day for him after that double that he started the day off with.
A lot of chirping from the Orange County dugout, and that's going to prompt the home plate umpire to tell him to settle down. The first base coach for Orange County talks to the dugout as well, telling him to stop. So Orange County doesn't want this to happen either. The Riptide a little bit frustrated as they see that their control is slipping for their playoff positioning. They still have a chance even if they lose today's game. And so a warning is now issued to the Orange County dugout. He said, 1 more comment arguing balls and strikes. There will be an ejection.
It's just been one of those days.
So 2 strikeouts in the inning. One of them left a runner on first base after the dropped third. First pitch into Terrence Simmons, misses low and inside. The count 1-0. Durfee, good job on a backhand pick. Looks the runner back at first base. Dwight Allen has to be careful of a back pick. Durfee's already showcased his arm this season. One of the games he was behind the dish, he caught out a few runners. The runner goes, Plotkin throws it to first, and that's a balk call by Tobias Plotkin. He was going to the dish, he saw the runner going, and it's very clearly a balk by Plotkin.
And Plotkin's had a balk to his name earlier in the season before, and that's just another one right there. And I mean, it obviously sucks, but Allen goes over to second.
That was one of the more egregious balks I've ever seen. He was going to the dish, saw Dwight Allen was running, and then halfway through changed his tune. That is the second balk call today against the Oaks. One to Wexberg, and then that one to Plotkin. Wexberg's was in the 5th, this one in the 8th. The pitch bounced outside of the first base bag, so the count is 1-1. Terrence Simmons so far today, he's 1 for 4. He has 3 ground outs so far in this game. Those came in his first 3 at-bats, but he also had a 2 RBI single in the 6th inning. Daniel Cabral at shortstop, standing behind the second base bag. He has the responsibility to hold on Dwight Allen, as well as defensive shift. Allen's going. The throw down to third, a bullet, but it ran Melhoff off the bag. A breaking ball from Tobias Plotkin left Durfee with almost no shot to get the runner. And so now a runner 90 feet from home with 1 out.
And you mentioned that was a bullet. Durfee threw that ball hard, but it was just on the left side of the bag, and because of that, Allen was able to slide in there safely at third. So he advances to second on a balk, and now a stolen base to third. A runner 90 feet away for the Riptide, and this is exactly what they need right now with them down by 5.
The pitch catches the zone, lone outside corner. It's even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and a runner on third base.
And that
Plotkin has struck out his last 3 consecutive batters.
And that runner on third is huge because even if he comes in to score, remember, all the playoff positioning matters is runs allowed. And so trying to preserve the run is huge.
The 2-2 breaking ball that misses away. The count has run full. So if the Oaks do hold on to win, you're right. The runs are what is going to matter. The Oaks came into this game allowing 3 fewer runs than Orange County. So if the Orange County Riptide lose this game by 5 runs, then if both teams have the same result tomorrow, but Orange County allows 8 fewer runs than the Oaks, if this 10-5 score would stand, then there would have to be another tiebreaker. This one off the end of the bat into left field. Carrillo lets it drop in front of him, and a run's going to come in to score, an RBI single for Terrence Simmons.
Yeah, and Simmons had an RBI single his last time up. That was in the 6th, and right there he gets a full count and sends it the other way. His second RBI single of the day, his 3rd RBI, and his hot bat against the Oaks continues today. He started 0 for 3, but back-to-back hits, and now a 2 for 5 day with 3 RBIs. You got to think Terrence Simmons is feeling a little satisfied despite his team losing by 4 right now.
Colton Freeman, he comes to the dish. He's reached base twice. His last time up, struck out on 3 consecutive pitches. Checks his swing, doesn't go around. The count is 1-0. And so Freeman, he was the last batter of Jox's appearance. So the only one that Plotkin hasn't seen yet today. The runner's going. The throw down from Durfee. Hop, and it gets away from Smith into the outfield. Simmons didn't get a good jump, so he couldn't go to third. It was a throw by Durfee on a pitch by Plotkin that was slow to the dish. Durfee, he has a cannon behind the plate. We were missing out on that arm all season. He had a little bit of an arm injury that held him out, and he is showcasing his arm as of late, and it is an absolute rifle.
And right there he tried to bounce it, and that's something that he really likes to do.
This one, ground ball to Cabral. Runner goes back to second, and Simmons back to second. Freeman out at first. And so that is going to be the second out of the inning.
And that's a nice play by Cabral on one hop, and he threw it across and got the play in time. But he held the runner at second. But going back to that throw by Durfee, Durfee likes to hop balls towards second. We learned that from Logan Soferenko yesterday. Says at Cal Lutheran, that's something that Durfee does. And, yes, he does have a rifle for an arm. We saw the throw to third that was in there in a bullet, and that throw to second got there in a hurry. He just didn't get there in time as Smith couldn't contain it.
First pitch to Clay Owen, breaking ball that misses away, the count 1-0. Owen, he reached base the first 3 times he came to the plate. Really feasted off Lucian Wexberg. 2 walks and a single through the first 3 innings, but he was the first batter that Tobias Plotkin faced, and he struck out on 5 pitches. So the left-hander in this lefty matchup, it wasn't successful for Owen the first time, but he's quickly ahead 2-0 as Plotkin misses high and away. A runner in scoring position at second. That's Terrence Simmons. Cabral with the responsibility of holding him on. The 2-0 swing, skied high. Carrillo coming in. Cabral going out. Daniel Cabral, he squeezes it to end the inning. So 1 run comes around for the Riptide on 1 hit. A dropped third strike allowed for Dwight Allen to come aboard. 1 runner left on base. The Oaks, they lead 10-6. We'll see you in the bottom of the 8th inning as the Oaks try to add more insurance when we come back on the Oaks live stream. Anson Arrows leading off the bottom of the 8th inning. Arrows, his last time up, he walked. Swing and a miss, strike 1. He came around to score on the drop third strike to Brendan Bobo. That was the final run, and that capped off an 8-run 6th inning. Now the Riptide, they have 3 outs to work with when they go to the away half to try to come back. Arrows watches a pitch, cuts the zone low and inside. So the count 0-2.
Yeah, Arrows scored 2 runs in that inning in the 6th. He was hit by a pitch to lead it off, and he came around to score. So 2 of those 8 runs in the 6th are Anson Arrows.
And so, nice, starting to get to that time of, and I'm not sure if we should talk about it this early, but starting to get to player of the game time as Arrows, breaking ball, runs off the plate, the count 1-2.
I mean, I think Anson Arrows maybe.
I mean, I think it's between Anson Arrows and Raul Sandoval right now. Arrows, he's reached base 4 times. He has 2 singles, hit by pitch, and a walk. But Raul Sandoval had that home run, and he's reached base a lot as well. My vote right now would be towards Raul Sandoval. But do you object?
I mean, I really want to give it to Sandoval just based on that home run, but at the same time, I mean, Anson's been driving the ball really well today. Both of his hits were nice line drives. And then 2 runs, I don't know. We'll have to see what they do in their next time up. I mean, if Raul doesn't come up, then maybe. If Anson doesn't get on here.
The 1-2 skied into shallow left field. It's tracking towards the line. That's going to get down. A flare single. Arrows digging for 2. It's going to be a double for Anson Arrows. So he wants to win player of the game.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. A 3-hit, 5 times on base day for Anson Arrows. I don't know. I think that sounds like player of the game worthy.
He's 5 for 5 on the day. Raul Sandoval, he's going to have something to say about it when he comes up to bat next. If he does, if this inning gets to him, he might have something to say about it.
There's been another game that we were really close to giving Raul Sandoval the player of the day.
And then we ended up giving it to Donovan Waitman just because he struck out 8 batters. It's hard not to give it to someone who strikes out 8 batters.
Exactly.
Brendan Bobo squares to bunt, puts one down. It's a perfect bunt. Bobo sprinting down the line. He's going to get there. An infield single for Brendan Bobo. He lifts his fist in the air, points to the number 1. A perfect bunt for Brendan Bobo. I never thought I would say that.
And, man, wow, what a game, you know. In a 10-6 game, this would be the scenario that I think Brendan Bobo would bunt, and, man, that was flawless right there. Just the first pitch, bunts it right down the line, and, you know, with a power hitter and Bobo, that's something that he's got to work on. They're going to have a lot of shifts like that, and able to get aboard, not the fastest guy, but a perfect bunt, and advances the runner. Nobody out at the corners. Great start to this inning.
Brendan Durfee to the dish. He has a 2 for 4 day going for him. 2 RBIs and a run scored as well. 2 singles. Those are his 2 hits. Now no outs and runners on the corners. The Oaks trying to pad every run they can. They might need all of it tomorrow. First pitch to Durfee. Inside, it misses the count. 1 ball and no strikes. And Knight, you said in between the top and bottom of the 5th inning that this game was flying by. You jinxed it a little bit.
I'm okay
and
with
I don't think that Oaks fans are mad about it.
I'm okay with jinxing, yeah. I mean, I'm okay with an 8-run 6th inning.
The 1-0, Durfee checks his swing. The pitch misses low. He does not go around, and it's a 2-0 count. Grant Smith on deck. Greg Melhoff in the hole.
Clay Rickerman's also warming up to close this game out.
Last time we saw Clay Rickerman, it was against the Santa Barbara Foresters, where he was credited with the loss. 2-0, strike 2-1. It's the first time that Rickerman has come into a game and has not picked up the save since the very first game of the season, which was a non-league opponent where the Oaks were just trying to figure out who they had. They just threw everyone at the wall to see what stuck for just a few innings. Durfee fouls one back, so a 2-0 count quickly turns to 2-2.
Yeah, he doesn't get the save at a 15-2 game.
Yeah, and I don't even count that against his resume. That's just when the Oaks were throwing every single pitcher. They pitched 5 pitchers in every game through the first 3 games. So I don't count that against Clay Rickerman at all. Durfee's guys went out of play. It's alive in the count. It's still 2-2. And Rickerman's been phenomenal all year. He had the 1 blemish against Santa Barbara, but even that, I'm not sure if you hold it against him. That is D1 talent from top to bottom in Santa Barbara. Of course, you want to win in extra innings. It's a heartbreaking way to lose, but, you know, all year long he has been great.
Yeah, 7 saves and 10 appearances. That's pretty remarkable for the right-hander.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Brendan Durfee. He strikes out for the 2nd time today. It's been an unusual last 2 days for Brendan Durfee. He had just 9 strikeouts coming into yesterday's game against the Slow Blues. He struck out once yesterday and now has back-to-back strikeouts today. Uncharacteristic from Brendan Durfee. He hasn't been playing bad. He still has 2 hits and 2 RBIs so far today, but he doesn't strike out very often. 3 strikeouts in the last, 7 at-bats for him?
Yeah.
Grant Smith watches the first pitch dive off the plate. A slider away. The count 1-0. Smith so far today, he has 1 hit. It drove in a run. He also scored in the 6th inning. He's also struck out, grounded out, and flew out over the course of this game. Arrows at third, Bobo at first. Brendan Bobo's going. The throw down. Not in time to get Brendan Bobo. A stolen bag for Brendan Bobo. He's playing small ball as the run comes in to score. So Brendan Bobo is doing Austin Carrillo's work right now. A bunt for a base hit, and then a stolen base to second. Arrows comes in to score. It's an 11-6 ball game. And who is Brendan Bobo? This is not the Brendan Bobo who I know.
No, not at all. The power hitter bunts and then steals a bag, and a run comes in. Whoa.
Grant Smith watches the pitch run away. The count 3-0. That pitch on the throwdown was a ball. I'm so perplexed.
I'm at a loss of words right now. Brendan Bobo stealing a bag. Heck, I should just buy a lottery ticket. This is the odds that I'm seeing right now.
3-0. Grant Smith got the green light. Skied in foul territory. Trekking over is Freeman, and he can't make the play in the Riptide bullpen. That would have been a heck of a run as the scoreboard turned off for a quick second, but went back on at Cal Lutheran, so nothing to be concerned about. Freeman, he made a long run and almost was able to get to that ball, but it dropped. Grant Smith now a 3-1 count. An interesting green light given to him right there, but with a runner in scoring position, I don't mind it. The 3-1 count. Smith, line drive into center field. Going back is Simmons at the track. It's off the wall. Smith headed into second. Bobo had to tag. He's coming around. The relay is not going to come home, and Grant Smith, an RBI double to dead center. That ball was almost crushed as much as a Raul Sandoval home run. We've seen 2 balls today to dead center field, and wow.
Yeah.
Wow, the hitting performance of the last 3 innings from the Oaks has been impeccable.
Literally, I mean, coming in to the 6th inning, it just didn't feel like a good inning was going to happen. You know, they just gave up 2 more runs. The Oaks, they were going to be down 5-1, and then they score 8 runs. They scored a run last inning, and now 2 runs in this inning. Grant Smith, a beautiful shot.
Melhoff gets a single to left field. It's going to drop. Smith is waved. There's not going to be a throw home as Melhoff picks up an RBI single. So Melhoff gets an RBI on the day, and every Oak is just in rhythm right now.
And this is huge because of the run differential meaning so much for the playoff standings. The Oaks scoring 3 runs in this inning to make it 13 runs given up by the Riptide today. This is monstrous in terms of playoff positioning if the Oaks are going to make it. You know, they're a game back from the Riptide. They need to win this, and right now they're up by 7.
Raul Sandoval, first pitch, missed the zone outside, the count 1-0. So every single Oak today has a run batted in except for Anson Arrows, and Anson's reached base 5 times.
Yes.
So pretty successful day by my count.
And 3 runs by Anson Arrows.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad day for Anson Arrows by any means. Raul Sandoval, high and away, the pitch misses, the count 2-0. So Sandoval, he's reached base 3 times today. A walk in the 2nd, reached base on an error in the 6th. Would have been a tough play regardless. He might have been out if Diaz would have thrown it to first, but Diaz elected to try to get a runner out at second base and couldn't flip it. The 2-0 count quickly turns into a 2-1 as Sandoval watches a pitch right down the middle. And oh yeah, the last time up for Raul Sandoval, maybe the longest ball that wasn't helped by the wind this season. That ball was crushed to dead center. It is 400 feet to dead center, and he cleared that wall by a few feet at the very least as Sandoval watches a pitch, gets the zone on the low and inside part of the plate. The count, 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out in the inning. Melhoff on first base. And this is a 13-6 game. The Oaks, they've scored 12 runs in the last 3 innings. They might not be done as Sandoval works the count full. It is 3-2. That's the count. Second base umpire, he is going to move. Get in the right positioning on the opposite side of the pitcher's mound. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 runner on first base. Melhoff's running. The pitch misses outside, and Raul Sandoval gets on. He is seeing the ball so well today. He struggled with seeing the ball this entire season. He was offering at a lot of those pitches. That pitch that Pogue threw right there, 2 days ago, Raul Sandoval swings at that pitch on a breaking ball low and away. Something clicked for him, and he is now doing a great job of seeing pitches and not offering at balls that are off the plate outside. Raul Sandoval is a transformed baseball player today, and it has showed and paid dividends. Hunter Call, first pitch, in for a strike to count 0-1.
It really has, and I mean, Raul, it's just a heck of a day for him to bounce back, get a home run, reach base 4 times. I mean, he's got to be smiling. And, like, Raul, every time I see him, he always has a big grin on his face, just like TJ Foreman. But, man, I think that smile is going to be huge today.
Hunter Call, check swing on a pitch elevated. First base umpire rings him up, said he went around, so the count 0-2 to Hunter Call. He's had 2 strikes on him twice in his last 2 at-bats. Those are the only 2 times he's reached base. Walked on a full count in the 6th, and then got a single in the 7th, but was stranded on third base. Melhoff at second, Sandoval at first, 1 out in the inning. The 0-2, breaking ball above the head of Hunter Call. Pogue, a hanger that just stayed up, and the count 1-2.
So far in this inning, this is the 7th batter to come up to the plate. Last inning, there were 6 batters that came up to the plate. In the inning prior to that, there was 12 batters that came up. So the Oaks, they're just working through right now.
1 ball, 2 strikes. It's going to be done one more time as Hunter Call fouls one straight back directly over the screen. And so even if the Oaks win today, they have not clinched a playoff spot. If Orange County wins against Santa Barbara tomorrow and the Oaks lose against Arroyo Seco, then the Oaks would still be out of the playoff picture. As Call, he rips a single. That's going to drop. Melhoff given the stop sign, so the bases are loaded, as that's a smart decision by the third base coach, Cody Raymer. He put on the stop sign, and that throw by Dwight Allen would have gunned down Melhoff at the plate. So the bases are juiced for Daniel Cabral.
And back-to-back singles for Hunter Call to left field. You like to see him getting aboard. He started the day poorly, a lined out to a double play and a ground out, but since then a walk and 2 singles. And, you know, getting aboard 3 out of 5 times, that's got to feel good for Hunter Call. A great bounce back. And the Oaks, they just keep this inning alive. And, man, what a last couple of innings. And they need to pour on more runs just because of the run differential, if that is the case tomorrow.
First pitch to Cabral, swing, bouncing ball down the line and outside of the chalk. That was almost a perfectly executed swinging bunt, but it just went right outside of the line. It was not what Cabral was trying to do. So the count is 0-1 to Daniel Cabral. Anson Arrows led off this inning with a double. Brendan Bobo, a single. That was on a bunt. Then he stole a bag. It's the most uncharacteristic things we've seen out of Brendan Bobo all year. Daniel Cabral skies one behind the plate. It's 0-2. A strikeout to Brendan Durfee. That's the only out of the inning. 6 pitches. He went down. Grant Smith, an RBI double. A run came in to score as well on a double steal from Brendan Bobo and Anson Arrows. The 0-2 swung on and missed by Daniel Cabral, so 2 strikeouts in the inning for Andrew Pogue. They're the only 2 outs in the inning for Pogue. And there are still runners on every bag with 2 outs in the inning as the lineup turns over to Austin Carrillo, who's the only person who hasn't batted in this inning.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's just insane. The Oaks, they're batting through the lineup again for the 2nd time in the past 3 innings, or 3 innings, the 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's crazy, and the bases are still loaded.
First pitch to Carrillo, misses high, the count 1-0. So in the 6th inning, the Oaks, they saw 11 batters come to the plate. Then there were 6 batters who came alive in the 7th, and now the Oaks 9 batters as Carrillo skies one to left. Dwight Allen, he's underneath it, so the bases are left juiced, but not after a 3-run inning for the Conejo Oaks. A lot of hits in the inning, 5 of them credited to the Oaks. No errors and 3 runners left aboard. Clay Rickerman coming to the hill, trying to shut it down. It's not a save scenario, but he'll take it anyways. We'll be back, top 9 on the Oaks live stream. Top of the 9th inning. The Oaks with a 7-run cushion. Clay Rickerman trying to shut things down. The first batter he's against is going to be Gavin Hamovitz. First pitch in the zone, a strike. 0-1 the count to Hamovitz. So Rickerman on the hill. Hamovitz seeing his 5th at-bat of the game. His first 2 were singles. This one, a flare to shallow left field. Melhoff and Cabral going back. Carrillo coming in. Off the glove of Cabral. He tried to make a basket catch. And into second base is Gavin Hamovitz.
Yeah, that was a tough ball, and that's just been the story for Clay Rickerman in his last performance and even here today. It's just weak contact off the end of the bat that just falls into the outfield. Had a chopper that went over the head of a third baseman that resulted in a double in the game against the Foresters, and right there, Hamovitz got the end of the bat and is into second after the play from Cabral.
So Rickerman, he's had 2 poor performances on the season. He's pitched in 10 games. In 7 of them, he hasn't given up an earned run. In the last game against the Foresters, he was credited with the loss. It's his only decision, even though he does have 8 saves on the year. First pitch in the zone. Not in the zone. That pitch looks center cut. But the count is 1-0. We can't complain. The home plate umpire has given a few calls both ways so far today. So the count, 1 ball, no strikes. 2 earned runs in 1 1/3 inning, credited with the loss against the Foresters. And then the only other poor performance, he was still credited with the save against the Orange County Riptide in an 8-7 win, but he gave up 3 earned runs on 4 hits. That is the only time he's faced off against the Riptide today. Every run is crucial for tomorrow. Right now, the Oaks, they have what would be right now a 10-run cushion headed into tomorrow's game if the results are the same for the Riptide and the Oaks. That's not out of the woods. We've seen the Arroyo Seco Saints put on runs in bunches against the Oaks this season. As the 2-0 catches the zone, it is 2-1. And we've also seen the Riptide play Santa Barbara very close. The Foresters are the team that the Riptide face off against in tomorrow's game. So it's not a done deal by any means if the Oaks pull off the win today. Foul ball, skied out of play. Count 2-2. And every run is crucial. So, Rickerman, it's not a save scenario, but if you're trying to limit runs, it's just as close to it. Grant Smith holding on the runner at second. It's Gavin Hamovitz. Austin Krizik, he's the man at the dish. He's reached base twice today, a fielder's choice and a hit by pitch. He's also struck out and flew out. This pitch runs off the plate to Austin Krizik. The count is full at 3-2.
And it's also worth noting today, the San Luis Obispo Blues, they lost to the Academy Barons 4-1. And because of them losing to the Barons, that means that the Arroyo Seco Saints, regardless of their result today, which they're leading right now against the Foresters 1-0, they have clinched the #1 seed from the South.
Ground ball outside of third base. So the count's still full. And so the way that the seeding works is that there are 2 teams from the north, 3 teams from the south, and word around town is that the #1 overall seed is going to get a bye. That would be the Healdsburg Prune Packers, who are 24-4 in CCL play on the season.
Yeah, ridiculous.
They're getting the bye. The 3-2 misses inside, so Rickerman allows the first 2 base runners on as Krizik, he walks to first on a 7-pitch at bat. So runners on first and second base, still no one down in the inning. And so with the seeding, how it works, the Lincoln Potters, they have clinched the other seed from the north. They are 15-13. They will be presumably, depending on the Slow Blues outcome tomorrow, the 3 seed, where Arroyo Seco, they've clinched the 2 seed. So the seeding as of now, if this score in the Oaks game stands, is the Prune Packers the 1 seed, Arroyo Seco the 2 seed, the Potters have the 3, Slow has the 4, and the Oaks have the 5 as this bouncing ball grounded to third. Smith, the relay to first base, a double play. Melhoff, Smith, Bobo, 5, 4, 3, and there are 2 outs in the inning with a runner on third.
And that's a huge out right there, and Rosas grounding into a double play. I mean, it's huge for Rickerman. He allows a double and then a walk on 7 pitches. You think, uh-oh, could get dirty. But a ground out, a double play, and now only 1 more out stands between the Oaks and tying and going into playoff position with the Riptide.
That brings up the 8-hole hitter, Mason Grace. First pitch. Thinks about it, but doesn't offer. It doesn't matter. It's a strike in the zone, so the count 0-1. Mason Grace, he's had the last hour that he'd like to forget. The 0-1 count. Grace checks his swing. Does he go around? The first base umpire says he does. Quickly 2 strikes to Grace. So Mason Grace in the bottom of the 6th inning. Dropped a 3rd strike from Brendan Bobo and then threw the ball over the head of the first baseman. Allowed for 2 runs to come around to score. And then in the next half inning, he struck out on 3 consecutive pitches looking to end the inning. No balls, 2 strikes. Splitter bounced away from Rickerman. The count 1-2. And so Mason Grace, after getting on 2 of the first 3 times he came to the plate with a hit by pitch and a walk, in danger of striking out 2 consecutive times. One ball, 2 strikes, a runner on third base, a 13-6 lead. Swing and a miss. This game is over. The Oaks control their destiny tomorrow. A 13-6 win. Clay Rickerman shuts it down, doesn't allow any runs in the 9th. And the Oaks, it was the offensive onslaught today, in particular in the 6th inning, that got things done. Knight, talk about this game because it was electric.
It was electric indeed, you know. The Oaks, they were trailing 3-0 early. They scored a run in the first, made it 3-1. Then the Riptide, they scored 2 runs in the 6th inning to make it 5-1. And you're thinking, oh no, this is going to be it for the Oaks this season. They're not going to make it to the playoffs. They're not going to make that trip to Lincoln. You think everything's going the wrong direction. It was the opposite. It was an 8-run bottom of the 6th inning that put the Oaks ahead. They come back. They score 1 run in the 7th. 3 runs in the 8th, and man, everybody just batted around, a lot of RBIs on the day, but it was a disastrous 6th inning for the Riptide. But man, I mean, Raul Sandoval hits a solo shot, Brendan Bobo bunts and then steals a base. It was just a wild game all around, but overall, the Oaks, they win by 7. That's crucial if you go and think about tomorrow's implications. If the Oaks, they win and the Riptide win tomorrow, then the Oaks, they have a 10-run pattern of runs that they need to not give up tomorrow. And so winning by 7 is huge. Winning today to go into playoff position is ginormous. And man, what a day for the Conejo Oaks.
And so a ton of offensive performances that we need to shout out. Austin Carrillo, he had an RBI, he reached base. Antoneros reached base all 5 times he came to the plate. Brendan Bobo, 4 times he came to the plate. He reached base. He scored a run twice, 2 RBI as well. Brendan Durfee, he had 2 singles, RBIs on both. Grant Smith, he had 2 RBI hits, a double and a single. He came around to score on both. Greg Melhoff, he had an RBI single, reached base 2 times, a run scored for him as well. Hunter Call reached base the last 3 times he came to the plate. And Raul Sandoval. I mean, Raul Sandoval was immaculate today. 4 times he reached base. He saw counts deep. He had the best game of his season, a home run in the 7th inning. And I think he's the player of the game. I know that there's a debate for Antoneros, but I think it goes for Raul Sandoval.
I think it's Aronson Arrows. I mean, he literally reached base every single time. Sandoval had a strikeout, and that's why I don't think it's him over Arrows, because Arrows had 3 hits, 2 singles, and a double, and scored 3 runs and reached base safely all 5 times.
Either way, we'll see you tomorrow against the Arroyo Seco Saints. The Oaks, they control their own destiny. A win tomorrow secures a spot in Lincoln. We'll see you there. From Ryan Milano and Knight Uretsky, signing off.